Oh, shoot.
Good luck, Rob.
Thank you very much.
Yeah,
Thank you.
break a leg.
Good morning. Good
My
morning.
name is Parole Officer Martinez. Today is Wednesday, October 2nd, 2024. This is a hearing of the Connecticut Board of Pardons and Paroles. The following board members are present. This morning, and by stating their names on the record certified, they have reviewed all statutorily required documents and available pertinent information for preparation of this hearing. Good morning, I'm panel member Page.
Good morning, panel member Rodriguez.
Good morning, Robert Sazowskis.
Please state your name and inmate number for the record.
First name John, last name Reese, inmate number 348-595.
This hearing is being conducted in consideration of the parole application for John Reese, inmate number 348-595. He is serving a sentence of 12 years, execution suspended after 5 years, 4 years probation for evading responsibility and violation of probation for underlying offense of attempted assault theft. As of today, records reflect a parole eligibility date of November 22nd, 2023. There is victim input in this case. The inmate was heard by the board on September 8, 2023. He was denied parole. The new hearing date was set for September 2024. The board recommended that the inmate complete choices, good intentions, bad choices, and any additional positive programming and to remain ER-free. Since his last hearing, the offender has completed the following programs. He has maintained his employment in the kitchen, has completed Tier 2, OVS and C-Card. He is currently participating in Smart Recovery and is mentoring in the Tier 2 program. Utilizing the statewide collaborative offender risk evaluation system, the offender's overall score for risk of recidivism falls within the moderate range. This is your opportunity to express to the board why you believe you should be granted parole. You may begin, Mr. Reese.
In 2020, I was involved in an accident which cost a young man named Michael his life. So I do empathize with the victim parents. I do understand the hurt and pain that I did cause them over the past few years. I want to apologize for my actions. I did play a part in this accident. No parent should have to bury their child. I wish there was another outcome when this young man was here with us today. He didn't deserve this. When I realized I struck Michael, I panicked. I was stressed, depressed, hurt, confused. I misunderstood what the investigating officer said to me and I left the scene. I denied the fact that I had any involvement in this accident because I was too busy pointing the finger at the first driver and not managing what I have done, or was I actively listening because I couldn't believe I heard an innocent human being. For the past few years, I've been working on myself physically, mentally, spiritually, and emotionally. I picked up the Bible, started reading on a daily basis, which helped me start reading self-help books and listening to motivational podcasts. I learned the 3-3 rule, which helped me to think 3 seconds, 3 minutes, 3 weeks from now before reacting to any negative situation. Also learned to examine my behavior towards drug and alcohol use. I learned to express my feelings and emotions and not keep them bottled up inside. I avoid arguing, pointing the finger, and blaming others, and I take responsibility for my actions. I also make sure I get clarification before leaving any crime scene. I encourage one another. I'm being supportive. I let love in. I communicate with respect now. And I didn't take these programs just for certification, but for transformation, for the victim and the victim family. I am a mentor, as y'all know already. And what I learned from Voice is how I hurt and harmed the victim family, and my community as well as my family. I do apologize for my actions. I did play a part in this accident. I wish there was another outcome where this young man was here with us today, because he sincerely did not deserve this. And I thank the board of pardon for giving me a second opportunity today.
Thank you very much, Mr. Reese, for your opening statement. I appreciate your expressing remorse for the victims and accepting responsibility for your actions. I also appreciate your doing what we asked you to last time. I was on your original panel, and you did follow through with our recommendations. So I commend you on your efforts thus far. You've been before the board before. You're welcome. And so what's going to happen today is, again, we'll all take turns asking you questions, but today we have victim input on your case. So we'll turn the hearing over to the victim's advocate when we are done, and then we will deliberate and give you our decision, okay?
Okay.
I just want to state for the record that the state's attorney, they objected the last time to your being released early, and they are objecting again.
Okay.
Okay? All right.
Understandable.
Best of luck to you, sir. Mr.
Yes.
Rodriguez, we'll start with the
Thank you, Madam
questions.
Chair. Mr. Reese, thank you so much for your opening statement. You didn't have it prepared in writing, but you did a nice job speaking, and it felt really from the heart for me. And I appreciate you accepting responsibility for this. It was a tragic accident that happened, that took a life, and that family's going to continue to suffer probably forever with this loss. Yeah. I noticed in reading your documentation that the previous panel had originally denied your application, struggled with bringing you back. But when they decided to, they wanted you to take some additional programming. Can you talk to us a little bit about the program that you've taken and how that has prepared you for transition back out into the community?
Oh, I don't have any involvement with the old people, places, and things. So I'm willing to to make new memories and just get my life back on track. I want to do, and I'm doing this for the family because you know what they're going through is forever. So I suffer every day because I know what they're going through is forever. So it's like I'm doing this for them. And what I've learned is change and be humble.
That's what I want you to talk about. I want you to talk about what that change is, what that change looks like. What that change looks like.
Well, for one, it's not dealing with old people, places, and things, and being humble, patient, walking away from any negative activity, and I enjoy helping people. So that's what change has been for me: helping others, reading positive books. So
you talked about doing some mentorship. Talk to me about what who you've been mentoring and how those things are going. What's been your kind of message to those that you've been mentoring?
Oh, I always tell the brothers, people to stay positive, pray, read, work out, journal, and it has been working for a lot of inmates. And journaling is like the biggest thing we've been doing. So, and I try to tell them to don't be too hard on yourself. Let love in, self-love and things like that.
Okay. Talk a little bit about your release plan. What's your thinking about what's going to be your goals when you finally do get released?
Well, when I'm released, I already have a job waiting for me at the moving company, and I will be trying to go back to Northeast Building Supply to be a yardsman. I was a yard foreman before I was incarcerated, but I know I can be a yardsman, so they're willing to rehire me. And I want to go back to school to be an electrician, to become so I could start my own business. And that was my goal before, and I'm sticking to the same goals. So that's my plans when I'm let back into society.
Yeah, I saw. We did receive the letters. I did see the letters in your files from the Northeast Company. That was very positive. You had a couple of other very positive, supportive reference letters that you got about who you are, and integrity and stuff. And but I don't know. I'd like you to just kind of. What about your substance abuse? What are you going to be doing about a relapse plan as part of your relapse? As part of your release?
Oh, when I'm released, so using or having any urges that's the least of my worries. If I do have any urges or anything, I'll call my mentor from CCAR. My mentor, Sean Moore, and I'll call my recovery coach from CCAR and ask for help. But using as of right now, that's the last thing on my list. That's still not even on my list, actually.
I'm going to suggest you keep it on your list because you don't know what can happen on the outside. Things are still very stressful on the outside for a lot of folks, and coming out may not be as easy. You've got probation to have to deal with when you come out, so you're still going to have some supervision going on when you do finally come out. I would suggest that you don't minimize the significance and importance of the work that you got to continue to do, even on the outside, because in recovery, the relapse is always right around the corner.
That is true.
Depending on what what curves life puts you on. So I'd like you to kind of keep that in mind. It looks as if you've done the programming that folks have asked you to do, and I don't really have a whole lot more questions for you this morning. I appreciate you answering my questions.
Thank you.
Again, I think this was a tragic accident. I appreciate you again taking responsibility for what happened.
Thank you,
Madam Chair.
Thank you, Mr. Rodriguez. So, Mr. Reese, again, I was on your original panel, and you heard myself and my other two colleagues at your last hearing discussing whether or not we wanted to bring you back. You remember that? Do you recall that?
Yes, ma'am.
Yeah. And part of the reason was because we believe that the sentence that was handed down to you was in line with it was very lenient, honestly, given the tragedy that was caused. And I think part of the reason we wanted to rehear you was because you sound so motivated and you really were working diligently on changing yourself. And so I'm happy to hear and I'm happy to see that you remained on that positive path. And I understand that being denied is not an easy thing, because I know everyone in there wants to go home. But, our jobs are to return those people that have shown a significant amount of change, as well as that they're suitable to go out into the community. So, and honestly, I really do think that you have changed. In listening to you in your opening statement, I was concerned that you keep saying that you're doing the programs for the victim. That might be offensive to them. And I know that you mean well with that statement, but the programming is not for them. The programs are for you. you should not want to commit another crime or create more victims, especially after the pain and the harm that you've caused this family. So going out and doing better should be for yourself primarily, and then to show the victims that you can be successful out in the community, if that is what you mean.
That's what sorry.
Yeah. No, it's okay.
Sorry,
I know that that's what you meant, but that's not how it came out, you know?
Gotcha.
And, you know, the victims are never going to be okay with this, ever, ever. I mean, if someone did this to your loved one, how would you feel?
I feel the same way as they are, as the victim families feel.
I mean, in 5 years for a life, Mr. Reese is really, it really was a gift. So you've received some considerable consideration. I know those are the same word, but you really have. And I'm so happy though that you are on the straight and narrow, and that you are making better decisions, and that you are accepting accountability for your actions, all the things that we would want to hear. I'm happy to hear that you're doing those. So I don't want to negate the work that you've done, but I just want you to understand that the last time that we had this hearing, there was no victim input. And I can't imagine today that they're going to say, we'll go on, let them go out. But we take that statement into consideration as well. But please don't let this discourage you. Whatever the outcome of today is, don't be discouraged, you know, and continue moving forward. And I guess I didn't have any questions for you, but I just wanted to say those few things to you. Mr. Kasauskas.
Hi, good morning, Mr. Reese.
Morning.
My colleagues have asked most of the questions, and I've read through your file, so I just have a couple things. I noticed reading your file, you have a record of community release failures in the past. In fact, that
Yes.
I think you were on probation when this happened, right?
Yes.
Okay. So can you tell us what will be different this time and what your plan is to complete parole or your probation successfully so that we're not back in this situation again? What's different now from those previous community releases?
Well, my last when I violated the last probation, I was almost done. I had like 2 or 3 months, I believe, before the case went back in front of the judge. And I was happy for myself before this case happened. And, you know, and what I've done last time was work. I was working every day, and I will continue to work every day. And if and my plan is to go to school, I understand it's hard in today's society, but I will continue to fight and do everything I've learned here. I will take it into society and use it and use the tools out there. But I'll do whatever I have to do to stay up. But trust me, this is it. I'm tired of this place. I don't like this place, but I do everything I have to do to stay positive and continue to meditate and pray. But I'm done. This is it. I'm telling you.
Okay, the only other thing I had, Mr. Reese, was as you're preparing to get ready to either be on probation or parole, have you looked into what's going on with your driver's license? What's the status of your driver's license right now?
I just paid for suspension, and they took it out of suspension, and I just got it reinstated last week. So it's active right now.
All right, Madam Chair, those are all the questions I have today. Thank you.
Thank you. So at this time, Mr. Reese, we're going to turn the hearing over to our victim's advocate, Mrs. Williams, and we ask that you please not speak. You may listen, but please don't interrupt. Okay, thank you. Good morning, Ms. Williams.
Good morning. Thank you, Madam Chair. Good morning, panel. I do see that the sister of the victim has joined us, and she will be addressing the board today, reading a statement from herself as well as the mother of the victim. If you can hear me, you may unmute at this time and begin with your statement. And when you are done, please mute again. You may begin. I can see that she did unmute, but we cannot hear you. Ma'am, if you can hear me, we cannot hear you if you're speaking. I'm not sure if your microphone is enabled, but you have been unmuted and may begin.
No, we cannot hear you. Sorry.
Yeah, thank you. I'm going to call her so that I can patch her in via speakerphone.
Thank
Please
you.
bear with me.
Any news on the?
Thank
Hello,
you for
can you
your
all-
patience, everyone. You may begin with your statement now.
Okay, I will be reading a letter for myself and for my mother. To the honorable members of the Parole Board. My name is Fabiana, and I am Michael's Ayuza's sister. On Friday, November 6, 2020, our family lives were forever changed when we lost Michael due to the reckless and preventable actions of John Reese. His tragedy was not just an accident, it was a profound event that devastated our family, leaving us to navigate a future altered in ways we never expected. The impact of that day continues to resonate deeply within our lives and hearts. No words can truly capture the pain and suffering we have endured since the day. Michael was a vibrant soul, full of life and promise at 19 years of age, with dreams that will never be realized. The void left by his absence is immeasurable, making it feel at times unbearable to move forward. My family and I struggle daily with grief, anger, and overwhelming sense of loss. Every milestone, birthday, holiday, family gathering is now overshadowed by his absence. My mother continues to struggle with clinical depression and grief, a journey that remains ongoing, and has led her to seek support through medication. I find myself worrying about her daily and fearing for her well-being should John Reese be released early. Meanwhile, Michael's father often avoids discussing the tragedy, and I often fear he will never find closure. In the wake of this loss, I have taken on a significant role and responsibilities to support my family, which has weighed heavily on me and affected my personal and professional life. I would like to emphasize that John Reese went missing after the accident and chose to evade cooperation with the police, which resulted in a lengthy 2-year criminal process marked with uncertainty and anguish for my family. John Reese was arrested on August 13, 2021, approximately 9 months after the accident, and was sentenced on November 30th, 2022. The emotional toll had been staggering, leading me to incur significant costs related to professional therapy and medical procedures brought on by grief, depression, and stress. Every time we pass the accident site, we are overwhelmed with tears, painful reminders that is impossible to avoid in our daily lives since it's within a mile of my parents' home. The situation further was exaggerated when the driver approached my mother the day after the accident, an act that was not only disgraceful, but also deeply re-traumatizing for my dear mother. I want to make it very clear that John's actions have had a lasting and permanent impact on our lives. His choices that day and the aftermath stripped our family of peace, security, and a sense of safety. The emotional and financial hardship we face are profound. No sentence can ever restore what we have lost with Michael's death. In seeking justice for the reckless act, we firmly believe he must serve the entire 5-year sentence. Today, I respectfully request that the parole board deny any request for parole. The loss of my brother is something that can never be undone, and the person responsible for this tragedy must be held accountable to the full extent of the law. Granting parole would undermine the severity of the crime and the profound impact it has had on my family and the community. If the board chooses to grant relief, I request stringent conditions to be imposed, including a mandatory mental health evaluation and treatment. It is critical that John Reese undergo a comprehensive mental health evaluation followed with any recommendations for treatment. Protective order. My family and I request a protective order to be placed against John Reese to ensure that we are not contacted or threatened in any way, nor in the future. The trauma and fear caused by the accident has left lasting scars, and we deserve the peace of mind that comes from knowing we will not be further contacted. Suspended driver's license. We request his license be suspended, and upon suspension expiration, he undergo driving courses prior to maintaining a valid driver's license in Connecticut and outside Connecticut. For clarity, John Reese has had numerous charges in the past related to motor vehicles, including but not limited to DUI, and we believe he has not learned how to be a safe driver. Probation. We highly recommend stringent conditions upon probation, although I frankly do not believe he will adhere to these given his history. He's a repeat offender, and the multiple violations of probation offense charges in his lengthy criminal history. Restitution. We also request that restitution be made to our family for the financial burdens we face due to the tragedy, including funeral expenses and any other costs with my brother's untimely death. In conclusion, I ask the parole to remember the life of my brother, Michael Vazquez Jr., a life cruelly and unjustly taken from us. I ask you to please consider the profound loss and the ongoing suffering our family has endured when making your decision. Thank you for your time and understanding in this sensitive matter. That was a letter by myself, and I have a letter for my mother. I don't know if I should read now or pause.
Yep.
Okay.
That's fine. Go ahead.
Translated to English. To whom it may concern. Through this letter, I want to express my deep pain as the mother of Michael Vazquez Jr. I cannot accept the freedom of the individual who ran over my son, causing him a tragic and irreversible death. He is unaware of the unimaginable damage he has inflicted, especially on me. To this day, my heart remains shattered by the loss of my son, and every memory of what John Reese told me about the accident haunts me. The day following the accident, early in the morning, I went to the accident site and saw John Reese there, posing as a witness. Not knowing who he was, I thanked him for the information, completely unaware I was speaking to the man that had destroyed my life. He recounted everything as if nothing happened. And as I relive and am reminded of that moment, I feel coercive rage, especially when having thanked him. I feel as if he mocked me, my pain, and the wound that will never heal. When I returned home and saw him on television, my world crumbled. I felt so awful that I was on the brink of losing my mind. It's a nightmare to know that someone like him walks freely among us. All of this caused me immense pain. It is not fair that he has freedom, even though I know nothing can bring back my son. Not even if he were to spend his entire life in prison, could that alleviate my suffering. All I ask is that he serve the full sentence, which does not even begin to reflect the crime he committed. I also suggest that he undergo a psychological evaluation because he is not a normal person, nor fit to be in our society. I hope the laws are just and that the pain we endured is recognized. The situation is a burden too heavy to bear. Sincerely, Dora Baez.
Thank you very much for that statement, for those statements.
Of course.
Thank you so much, panel.
Are those the only statements, Mrs. Williams?
Yes, that's it.
Thank you.
You so much.
Okay. Thank you. Okay, so Mr. Reese, we're going to deliberate and then we'll give you our decision. Okay? Thank you. Mr. Rodriguez.
Thank you, Madam Chair. Madam Chair, this is a tragic accident. Life was taken. You heard from the victim statements, the impact that it's had on this family. They're very passionate about the impact. One can see the difficulty in dealing with the loss of a loved one. Based on what we've heard today. And this case is challenging because, in fact, he was here before, was asked to do something. And in fact, he followed through the recommendations of the panel at that particular point in time. So I'm very challenged at this moment, kind of conflicted in making a decision in this. I'd like to hear from you, Madam Chair, who was really part of the previous panel. For me, it seems as if Mr. Reese has really worked toward making some changes. I outlined a few of the things that he talked about. He completed his programming that he was asked to do, and in fact, served as a mentor for individuals and talked about his mentorship and what he shared with them. He accepted full responsibility early on and talked about his remorse in this and the loss. And in fact, you asked him about if he lost his daughter, how he would feel now, how he reacted, and he shared that information. He has the promise of employment upon leaving, which we don't always see when we're even talking about releasing someone out to the community. So, you know, I want to be able to hear what you think about this in terms of your thing about before I make my final decision on this. But for me, he's been doing the work that he was asked to do. He has not received any DRs in that year that he's been there. In previously he had, but he has not. So for me, he appears to be working what he was supposed to be doing.
I agree with you, Mr. Rodriguez. You know, and when the panel does hear these people and they decide to rehear them, it's almost as if really yeah. I don't. Can you just ask the officer? Can you just open that door and just ask them? Just yeah. No, it's in the facility. It's the officers behind it. Yeah, they're there. I apologize. Hi, we can hear your conversation in the back and it's kind of distracting. So can you just
my apologies, I'm sorry.
Thank you. Thank you so much.
Thank you, Chair.
Thank you. So as I was saying, when we deny these offenders and we have them returned to us, it's almost as if we feel obligated that, you know, to release them, especially if they complied with our requests. And I think that oftentimes the offenders really feel like, okay, if they denied me and if I come back, they're going to let me out. But that's not always the case. That's not what it is. There are no guarantees. And, you know, I really do appreciate that he's been compliant in the facility since his last hearing, and he has been able to participate in the program. But that stuff is not for us. That stuff is for him. And I said that to him. And to hear the victims speak about what they lost, and I think that we recognized that at the first hearing because we grappled with having him come back. But he sounds so motivated, and he really did do a great job with his opening statement, with answering our questions, and with his program participation. So this is not new to me as a member that was on his original panel. So I think that Mr. Reese has done a great job, and I think that he will continue to do a great job. But as the victims said in their statements, this sentence, will never bring back their son. However, it does give them some validation or some security in the system that he got his 5 years, he should serve his 5 years. So my position is to deny him again. And based on the nature and circumstance of the offense and the injury and impact to the victim. That's my position. Mr. Kozlowski.
Thank you, Madam Chair. Yeah, certainly the victim's statement from their family is very compassionate. And I agree, Mr. Reese has done a good job and is making some changes in his life to prepare himself to be successful and crime-free when he's ready to be released. The sentence was light in this case, and someone lost their life. It's very serious and tragic. And Madam Chair, I agree with you that I'm not ready at this point to grant parole.
Thank you.
Well, I appreciate both of your inputs. And I again want to acknowledge the work that Mr. Reese has done.
That's a negate
during this time. You can't negate not really trying to do what's best. The challenge, of course, is the nature of this offense. the definite impact to the victim's family in this. And as you pointed out, they're very passionate about what the impact has really been to them and the loss that they really suffered in this. So I appreciate both of your input in this, and I'm also going to be denying his discretionary parole today for basically the same reason: the nature of circumstances of the arrest, the injury and impact to the victim, the fact that the offense was committed while on probation as well.
She said he was doing well on probation, but so I honestly, I mean, the nature of the underlying offense is very concerning as well. But he was doing well up until this point, and I did make notes of his performance. He was doing well. He was on transitional supervision out there, and he for 9 months, and he was doing well. I mean, so I don't know if I would necessarily.
That's fine. I'm going to agree with the nature of injury and impact. It's family. But again, I want to really stress again that I think Mr. Reese is doing well. I hope that he continues to do the work that he's doing for himself.
Yeah. You know, this job is not an easy job. You know, if there's going to be, everyone's not going to be happy with our decisions. And the only thing that we can do is our best to try to make the best decisions that we can. And based on the information that we reviewed, I think we knew from the beginning that this was really going to be. Yeah. So we're ready with our official decision. With regard to John Reese, 348595, I move that he be denied discretionary parole based on the nature and circumstance of his offense and the injury and impact to the victim. Mr. Reese will not have a new hearing. Is there a second?
Second.
All in favor? Aye. All right, Mr. Reese, again, you've heard the comments. Keep up the good work, sir, and we do wish you the best. We wish you well.
All right, thank you.
Thank you. Thank you, family.
Mr. John Reese, inmate number 348595.
All right. So that guy, they denied him, and Tammy wrote, "Keep him and throw away the key."
Good morning, we're ready for you.
Officer, can you just unmute? We muted you during the Walker case.
All right, and good morning. Good morning.
Hello?
No, she's saying to the officer facility.
I got Lewis coming in. Is that fine?
No, Lewis is last. We need you to have him last.
Sorry, what was that?
Lewis last.
Okay.
It'd be Delroy, right?
Do you have Brooks?
Brooks, yes.
I'll take him.
Okay. Yeah, you last, Lewis.
All right, today we are in Connecticut today.
Okay, great, thank you. I'm sorry, I said Vazquez, and it's.
You did great.
Vazquez.
No, it's great.
I was like, I said club instead of. No, he did. He did. But
Sorry, it's going to take a while.
no, but I thought I knew how to say
very
it.
close.
I just said club.
It's
instead
okay,
of
Bob.
club
Mr.
instead of.
Happy Bob.
All right, and good morning. Good
Yeah,
morning.
thank you.
Good morning, everybody. Oh, hold on. Let me. My apologies.
Good morning, my name is
right
Parole Officer
here.
Martinez. Today is Wednesday, October 2nd, 2024, and this is the hearing of the Connecticut Board of Pardons and Paroles. Following board members are present this morning and by stating their names on the record, certify they have reviewed all statutory required documents and available for information in preparation of the hearing.
Good morning, sir. I am panel member Page.
Good morning. On the Delroy Brooks.
Panama Rodriguez, good morning.
Good morning.
Good
sir.
morning. Good morning, Robert Sadzowskis.
Good morning, sir.
Mr. Brooks, please state your name and inmate number for the record.
Delroy Brooks, 175992.
This hearing is being conducted in consideration of the parole application for Delroy Brooks, inmate number 175992. He is serving a sentence of 3.5 years jail with 5 years special parole for robbery first and assault second. As of today, records reflect the parole eligibility date of March 2nd, 2025. There is no victim input in this case. There is no offender accountability plan for the offender, and Mr. Brooks has completed Voices, Alternative to Violence 1 and 2, Tier 4, and is currently in the Psych program, CTAR, and attending NAAA. He was previously working as a chairman prior to being moved to Cycles. Utilizing the statewide collaborative offender risk evaluation system, the offender's overall score of the SRT falls within the moderate range of risk for recidivism. This is your opportunity to express to the board why you believe you should be granted parole. You may begin.
Hello? Yes,
Hi.
I hold myself accountable for what I did, and I apologize. And if I can apologize to the people that I harmed or embarrassed or intimidated, I would do that. And I took it upon myself to do extra programs while I was in here to work on my addiction, because I believe that's where my problems start, because I've been an addict for some time. And I even went as far as taking RCA, CCAR, basically to give back and also to learn more tools to help myself. And I believe I'm eligible now to go out there and work and stay off the streets and stay out of trouble. And basically, that's.
Well, thank you very much, Mr. Brooks,
I
for
believe
that.
I changed. I believe I changed, and I like the person who I am today.
That's good. That's a good thing. So, Mr. Brooks, I appreciate your opening statement, and I appreciate your expressing remorse for your crimes. I also appreciate the explanation that you gave, that you struggled with addiction, and most of your crimes are indicative of a person that really is an addict. So what will happen here, sir, is each of us will take an opportunity to ask you some questions. When we're done with our questions, we will deliberate, and then we will give you our decision. Okay?
Yes.
Do you have any questions?
No, I have no questions.
So I'm going to start with the questions. So in your opening statement, you said that you're changed and you're proud of the changes that you've made, and that's great. And you also talked about your being eligible to be released, and you're absolutely right in that statement. You are eligible. Now, the question that we must answer here today is, are you suitable? Do you understand the difference between eligible and suitable?
Yes.
Okay. So some of the things that we look at when we are determining whether or not an offender is suitable for early release, we review their criminal history. And as you stated, your criminal history dates back the year 2000, and they're all, reckless driving, larcenies, possession of controlled substance, drugs, paraphernalia. It's all indicative of someone who's trying to support their habit. We don't, that's not a strike against you, but it is something that we consider an aggravating factor, that your criminal history is so extensive and the types of crimes that you've committed. Another thing that we look at is your behavior out in the community when you are under supervision. And according to our records, you've been given 13 opportunities out there, and you failed 8 of them.
13?
So I bring that to your attention because you talked about the change that you've endured since you've been in there. And my question is, how is that going to transition to your behavior out in the community?
Well, so Hartford is so-called like a battlefield out there, and I finally moved out with my wife, and we moved to Windsor. So one of my plans was to stay away from old neighborhoods and old friends that I have, and I just want to enjoy being with my wife and my grandkids and my kids. So,
well, I appreciate that too, Mr.
I also, well, at first I never really identified myself as an addict all those times. And then coming to tier 4, I I realized I was an addict, not just someone out there having fun trying to get an eye here and there. So
Yeah, no.
I realized it, and
Good.
I worked on myself since then.
I think that that's the first step, that you have to realize that you are an addict. And honestly, your drug score is a 5. That's the highest that DOC could give in terms of a drug score. So you really do struggle with substance abuse. And when you're under the influence of narcotics, of course, you're not going to make the best decisions. You know, it alters your mind. It alters your way of thinking. So it's important that you make that connection. So I can appreciate that too. Something else that I saw when I was reviewing your file is that even though you have your wife out there and your children and your grandchildren, and you want to return to them and be, you know, the best person that you can, you're asking to be released to a halfway house because you think the structure will be beneficial for you until you get a job and focus on your sobriety and then reunite with your family. Is that right?
Yes, that would benefit me more, I believe.
Yeah, I think it would as well. And it looks like the DOC has already approved you for community release, right?
Yes.
Yeah, so that's a good thing. So again, I appreciate your explanation of what's different now. It sounds like you have a plan in place so that you can utilize some tools out there should you go down this path again. You talked about not being in the same area, which I'm sure is a trigger, but
yes.
So you do realize that there are drugs in Windsor, just like there are drugs in Bloomfield?
Yes, I do.
So what happens when you have a craving or an urge to use? This time around, I was introduced to NA and AA, and I went to one of those classes before, but they also told me about a sponsor and stuff like that. So I'm gonna try to go all in on the rehab. Mm-hmm. I mean, I'm almost 60, so I don't have any more time to fail or fool around. Yeah. Well, you've been doing pretty good at that failing thing for a while, so it is time for you to turn over a new leaf. You know.
Right. Yes, I believe that.
So I appreciate that. At least you have some insight as to what it is that you need to do when you're released out into the community. And it sounds like you have some community support, that your family hasn't given up on you. So it's important that you not give up on yourself. So I have to talk to you about the nature of your crimes, because that's something else that we look at. And, you know, the assault second involved your being in possession of a knife?
Yes.
And where'd you get the knife?
I was hit in the back of the head with a brick. 2 guys mistaking me for somebody else. And I sort of fell forward and grabbed the knife off of one of the guys that stopped me. I mean, it was all sort of by instinct, and I apologize for that, but I was trying to have them review the tape further to see that I wasn't really the aggressor. I was busting out. My jaw was broken. You know, all this would happen first. I mean, it's no excuse for what I did, but I didn't start this incident.
Yeah. Yeah. Excuse me. I don't really think that matters that you didn't start it. The fact is that, you know, yeah. And I understand. Now, I mean, had you not retaliated, you probably wouldn't be serving time for that assault second, but you would still be injured. And the fact that you went into this store and took a knife out and was taking items off the shelves in the store was kind of intimidating to those employees as well. Wouldn't you think that? Or don't you think that?
Yes, that's the robbery first, right?
Yeah.
Yeah, I was, like I said, my addiction had the best of me, and I could sell the knives in the street, and I just had it in my hand. I didn't brandish the knife. I didn't have it sticking out. It was in my hand, you know.
Yeah, well, yeah, no. I don't, for someone with a knife in their hand and walking past the checkout counter, I wouldn't think that you were just holding it in your hand. I would think that you were going to use it if anyone tried to stop you. That's what I would think. So, I mean, just the people in the store, can you imagine what they've experienced, just making minimum wage, trying to do their jobs, and they feel threatened by someone who opens a knife in the store and walks out with a carriage full of things that they didn't pay for? Would you stop them?
No.
Right. I wouldn't either, not for minimum wage. That's not my, they don't pay me enough to do that. But I mean, it was all so crazy. So remember we talked about your criminal history and how we're not really saying that you are not, your criminal history really is indicative of a person who suffers with substance abuse, but that was an aggravating factor, right? Remember I told you that?
Yes.
And then we looked at the nature of your crime, and that's another aggravating factor. So that's because the stabbing is concerning, and the knife and the robbery coupled together, that's just, and you being under the influence is really, really cause for concern. So those are two negatives there. And then the ticket that you got 2 years ago is also concerning, but that's not as bad as the criminal history and the nature of your crime. But those are some of the things that we look at. And for me, I'm just not sure that the good work that you've done since you've been in the facility outweighs your behavior from the past and the nature of this crime.
Yeah. But, excuse me, but I mean, confrontations with other inmates, I turned it down a notch, and I had no verbal or no contact with anybody.
Yes, you've done, listen, the ticket that's the least of our worries, but it's the other stuff. The fact that you were on probation, the fact that you had weapons involved with your crimes, the fact that you have a history of this kind of behavior is concerning for us as board members. We have to take all that stuff into consideration, and the safety of the people out in the community who are just working like those people were in the store, you know?
Yes, I understand.
So our decisions are not easy, but we do the best that we can to make the appropriate ones. And although you've done very well since you've been in there working on yourself diligently, I hope that that's enough to carry you over, even regardless of what happens here today. You understand?
Okay. I understand.
Mrs. Vazquez.
Hi, good morning, Mr. Brooks.
Good morning.
So I'm also concerned about some of the things that my colleague has mentioned. I see that you took the Voices program. Do you recall that program?
Yes, I do. Yes.
All right, that's good. Can you talk about what you learned in Voices and how you think you impacted those people at the loads that day?
Well, I know the impact on the people probably, it could be traumatic, and I wouldn't want it to happen to me. And you know, I'm apologetic. I'm sorry what happened. You know, it wasn't a real me. It was me under influence, and me away from drugs is a decent guy. You know, I'm an all right fella, but I have remorse for what I did, and I mean, there's no way I could apologize to them personally, but I'm trying to move on with my life and be a better me, you know.
I understand. You know, like my colleague mentioned, these are employees. It could be your children, your family members. They're just working in a store trying to make a living.
Right.
And then they're confronted with someone with a knife stealing things, you know. So I can tell you that impacts people a long time. You know, that's not going to go away and the next day they go to work and they're fine. That's not how that's going to work. So that's concerning that you've made an impact on people that's going to be lasting. And that's, we looked at your criminal history, and that's not your only crime. There are a lot of these types of incidents in the community. We're gonna move on to something else. I see that you were a chairman before you were moved and transferred. What were you doing? What kind of work were you doing?
I was working in a clothing factory making the clothes that the inmates wear. And then I got transferred to Cybulski, and I'm a tier man. I clean the bathroom and the day room. I wipe down the phones and the tables. That's what I do now.
All right. So you talked about being employed when you get out at some point.
Yes.
What does that look like? What do you envision for yourself for employment when you are back in the community?
When I'm back in the community, I used to do roofing and welding, but my body is sort of hurting right now. So I would do carpentry inside, like framing walls and painting and, just home improvement, but not the strenuous part.
Do you have any commitments for employment? Have you spoken to anyone in your family or friends on the outside?
Well, I got a family member that runs his own carpentry business, so I'm hoping to get started in there.
Okay. It's important that you have a good release plan, and that when you're set up and you're ready when you go out. I understand you want to go to a halfway house, and like my colleague said, I think that's probably smart for you to get that kind of structure in between before you move back and have more freedom with your family. So I know that you mentioned a disciplinary ticket, and I want to hear a little bit more about that. I know it was a couple years ago, but being on supervised release requires that you're going to have to follow a lot of rules, and you have a history of unsuccessful supervised releases. So I know this disciplinary report was it would seem like a simple rule to follow, and you were not able to do it. This is regarding the commissary order. Do you recall this?
Yes.
So it's important when you're in a halfway house, when you're on parole, when you're on special parole, whatever the situation is, that you're able to follow rules, even minor rules like this. It's just if you can't follow them, you're going to end up back here. So can you just talk? Yeah, can you talk about what happened that day, and can you just a little bit about how you changed and you understand?
I understand was what I need to do. I mean, I had parole, I think, twice, and I completed that. I've been to a halfway house before. I completed that. This time around, I'm trying to go to the NAAA meetings. I heard about this thing called 90 and 90. It's 90 meetings in 90 days, and that's as soon as I get my foot out the door, that can help me. And I'll try to get a sponsor so that way I have somebody to call if I have any urges or any thoughts about seeing any old friends or trying to get something to get tipsy with or just even a drink. So I got a plan on really trying to stay sober, and I think that's where it starts for me. Not even picking up anything, not even medical marijuana, or, I'm just trying to be clean.
Yeah, obviously that, reading all this addiction is a big part of what's driving this and what's going on here in all of your cases. I think we can all agree to that. And I see you completed Tier 4, participated in AA, NA, and you were involved in C-Card. It sounds like you have some plans to continue that activity on the outside, like you said. Have you reached out to C-Car or NA or AA or anyone in your community? Are you thinking about how that's going to work for you when you're released?
Yeah, I'm talking to a few people that did it in here and they relapsed, but they told me once I get out, I contact C-Car, and if the halfway house approved, I could do 100 hours of community work with them, and they will keep an eye on me and see how I'm progressing in the community and how I'm helping others as much as I'm helping myself. So I plan on contacting C-Car. If I can't do that in the halfway, that'll be the first thing I do if I complete halfway house.
All right, that's good. It sounds like you put some thought into how this is going to play out for you when you're ready to. Okay. All right, let me just double check here. I don't think I have anything else, Madam Chair. Answered all of my questions. Thank you.
Thank you.
Thank you, sir.
Mr. Brooks, my colleagues have covered quite a few things already. You know, some of the aggravating factors that we have to look at, so you know about your prior history. I just want to talk a little bit about the assault charge, where you actually stabbed somebody. I'm
What?
trying to figure out why did you, I think you said the motivating factor for this was that you were beat up or you were assaulted days prior to that. Why didn't you just call the police?
Call the police?
Why did you go back? Why did you go back and stab the guy?
Oh.
Well, I didn't stab him. I sort of slapped him on the wrist
Oh
with
yeah.
the knife sideways.
Oh.
And
What
I
the
mean,
what?
everything was happening so fast, and I was out of it. Like I said, I admit I was high, and I'm just apologizing. I'm apologetic for that. I mean, that was not a good.
Not
It
a
was
good
not
look.
good actions on my part, but I was
Absolutely.
dazed.
Absolutely.
I was dazed. There was a lot going on.
Oh,
you know,
yeah.
and
Same way you just slapped him in the wrist, the same way you just stabbed him, you could have stabbed him.
I
He
know I
said
didn't stab
slapped
him,
him with a
I
wrist.
didn't poke him. I didn't stab him like that.
Nah, not like that.
So in the documents, they just said there's a video of you stabbing him in his forearm. But you know, I'm just thinking you got to start thinking differently. You know,
Yeah.
and I don't want to take away from the work that you are doing. Obviously, you're doing some work with Tier 4 and the programming that you're taking. You're doing some work, but you know, things are serious outside.
Yeah, they contacted him during my pre-sentencing investigation, and he wrote back or contacted the lawyer and said, Mr. Brooks needs rehab. So he said he didn't have any hard feelings against me. He just think I need to seek.
But that was a blessing for you.
Yeah.
I don't have any questions. I just wanted to know a little bit more about why.
Thank you, Mr. Rodriguez. So let's talk about Mr. Brooks' discretionary parole. So honestly, we're talking about 3 months. It looks like his eligibility date is in March. He's done in June. There's no doubt that he's done well since he's been in the facility. You know, one disciplinary infraction, he's been down for a few years now.
Yep.
We've seen worse, to be honest. He has a viable release plan. It sounds like he's given some thought to his relapse prevention. And he honestly sounds motivated to go out into the community and do well.
He even looks motivated.
However, he has the 5 years of special parole to follow his sentence. And I'm struggling with the fact that he was on probation. He committed these crimes and they're serious. And he has a history that dates back a number of years. While I understand he's eligible, I'm not sure that he is suitable. So I would not support his request. I would not support his discretionary parole today, based on the nature and circumstances, criminal history, and his offense being committed while on probation. I must say though, on the record, that I'm impressed with Mr. Brooks. I really am impressed with the work that he's done, and I hope that he continues it when he returns to the community.
What do you guys think?
Mr. Vazquez.
Thank you, Madam Chair. Yeah. I'm also impressed with the programs that he's taken and the change that he's displayed today. He's speaking to us. He is at 85%, and we are talking about 3 months. Has been approved for immediate release.
Immediate release? What?
So I would be in support of granting him discretionary parole today.
He's done well.
Yeah, I'm on denial today. The nature of the offense, the fact of his previous history around releases, struggling to kind of get them done. I agree that I think he's done some good work, and it seems to me as if he's moving in a positive direction. He's got a short period of time before he's released. We can set special parole conditions for him today that will set him up at least to kind of get him set up when he goes out. So, but I am not.
Hey, I'll take this guy.
Support of his description.
Okay.
I'll take this guy
Sounds like he,
opposed to the goose
is going
from
out
Friday.
regardless of our decision. So, but nonetheless, we can set the conditions. I have no consumption of an alcoholic beverage, no contact with the place victimized, a halfway house, and no contact with the person he stabbed. CW. Is there anything else?
Friday was awful. Friday it was like, man, I wanted to poke my
He's
eardrums and my
alive.
eyeballs
That's
out.
something he can advocate for himself. He has 5 years of supervision of following sentence. He has to advocate for himself. He's doing well. He's in the second chance programs. He can continue working in that program until the DOC releases him. I mean, he's doing well. So, any other conditions before I make the motion? Okay. All right, with regard to Delroy Brooks, 175992, I move that he be denied discretionary parole based on the nature and circumstance of his offense, his criminal history, and his offense being committed while on probation. Is there a second?
Second.
All in favor? Aye. All opposed?
Aye.
I further move to set the following special parole conditions as Mr. Brooks has 5 years of special parole to follow his sentence. Following conditions will apply. He's to consume no alcoholic beverages. He's to stay out of that Lowe's and Bloomfield. He'll be released to a halfway house per his request, and he's to have no contact with CW, and the name will be listed in the disposition. Is there anything? Is there a second?
Second.
All in favor?
Aye.
All right, Mr. Brooks, sorry. You receive all of this in writing, okay?
All right.
Yep.
All right, good
Mr.
luck,
Brooks
Lisa.
on his way out.
Delroy Brooks, inmate number 175992. Can you send in Bruscato, please?
Yep.
All right. Brooks is out. Oh, hold up. All right, so for those of you who are wondering what's happening with the camera, I can't keep the image up more than a few seconds. If not, I gotta cut it because I'll get a notification. So that's why it goes on for a few seconds. I was reading the terms of service, and pretty much you could, if you're using content like this, you could only keep it on the screen like for about 15 seconds at a time. So that's why I keep on switching in between them. You know, that prevents them from hitting me with violation and me having to shut it down. So if you want to watch the stream uninterrupted, I would suggest for you to jump over to this platform right here. If you can see that little logo right there, and the name of the channel is right here. If you go here, you type this in, you're gonna be able to see the live stream uninterrupted. You'll be able to see and you'll even be able to see the TT messages on there. They are on the screen. All right, and the next guy, as soon as they give his name up, I'll go ahead and pull up his info and see what's he's in for. Thank you, Snow. Highly appreciate it. And let me see. Build cool things, but thanks for doing that. Keeping the live up. Yup. And let me see. Shaylee, that female board member is strict. Yup. All right. So right now, today I got 3 streams going. I got Connecticut, which is the one we're on right now. I also got Vermont, which is riding solo or automatic, and then we also got what other state do we have? Oh, we got Utah, but the one I'm participating on right now is the Connecticut one. I like the Connecticut ones because they give you the decision right then and there, opposed to the one like in Utah, you gotta wait like 2 weeks. So but for today, it's a short one. Hey, Ernest, how's it going? And welcome. Highly appreciate it. And if you guys could go ahead and, help us get to the, FYP, the front page, and bring in some more viewers, which means more comments and a different point of views, if you will. Let me see. I wouldn't want to go after the last 2 guys.
My name is Parole Officer Martinez. Today is Wednesday, October 2nd, 2024, and this is a hearing of the Connecticut Board of Pardons and Paroles. All board members are present this morning and by stating their names on the record. Certified and have reviewed all statutory required documents and available for information and preparation of the statement.
Good morning. I'm panel member Page.
All right, and these are live.
Rodriguez. I'm just speaking March.
Good morning, Robert Sazowskis.
Good morning.
Give your name and number.
My name is Craig Bruscato,
Inmate number.
342753.
This hearing is being conducted in consideration of the parole application for Craig Bruscato, inmate number 342753. Is serving a sentence of 30 months jail for 2 counts of larceny, theoretically to appear first. As of today, records reflect the parole eligibility date of November 6, 2024. There is no victim input in this case. There is an offender accountability scenario for the offender. Mr. Bruscato has maintained a job in the kitchen and has completed voice. Utilizing the statewide collaborative offender risk evaluation system, the offender's overall score on the SRT falls within the very high range of risk for recidivist. Utilizing the static 99 card, the offender's overall score for sexual offense recidivism falls within the most moderate range. This is your opportunity to express to the board why you believe you should be granted parole. You may begin.
Well, I want to thank you guys for this opportunity. I have been doing this a long time, off and on. I have a drug problem. I've been in and out of jail multiple times for trying to fuel a drug habit that I just haven't been able to get control of. I had a whole plan in mind. I was going to try to transfer to South Carolina. The girl that I was with actually just ended up getting diagnosed with cancer, and she doesn't have too much time left. So I really didn't have too much of a plan. I need some kind of structure. To me, I'm not even asking to go home. I'm asking to go to a halfway house. So I have some kind of structure. So I have some kind of, rules that I got to abide by, because every time I leave jail with a flat bid, I just did 5.5 flat, left, went home, and I was on the streets homeless with nowhere to go. I take full accountability for everything I've done. I don't know. I'm not a bad guy. Like, I'm not a
Model citizen right there.
I don't know. I'm not good with stuff like this.
Yeah,
No,
yeah.
it's okay. It's a big deal, Mr. Bruscato. That's how you say your name? Bruscato?
Yeah.
You probably should have written something down, but it's okay. You did your best. And it's really important, though, when you are released out into the community, that you do have a plan. That's the piece that's going to make or break your success, sir. And we appreciate your open and you're being honest about your substance abuse. And until you get that under wraps, you're going to be in and out of prison. So I appreciate your opening statement. And you've been before the parole board before, or no? This is your first time?
On other bids, I've had parole.
Yeah, huh.
So what we're going to do here is ask you some questions. When we're done with our questions, we'll deliberate and then we'll give you our decision, okay?
Okay.
Best of luck to you, sir.
Damn, that was fast.
Mr. will be done.
Hi, good morning.
Morning.
So you're eligible for parole, but it's our job today to determine your suitability.
Yeah.
I read through all of your files to try to make sense of some of these things that have gone on. And, all your crimes were centered around addiction. And obviously it's important that you have a need to address that area of your life before you can be successful outside. Do you understand that?
Yes, sir.
Okay. So earlier this year, you were in the Tier 4 program for substance abuse, which is, the top program. It's what you need, Mr. Bruscato, right, to be successful outside. And I can't really make sense of what happened. So what happened when you were in that program? How did you end up leaving?
With that, as far as learning from the program, I learned a lot from the program. I learned about substance abuse. I learned about my anger. I learned certain stuff that helped me to become a better person. It was a lot of politics upon inmates. And there was a lot of, I left a bowl dirty on my shelf and people wrote me up because I left a bowl dirty on my shelf. I tried going back to Tier 4 when I was at Osborne, and I wrote them, and 2 days later, they transferred me here. I've been writing for tier 2 since I've been here, and they said now I'm on the waiting list for the next group that starts, that I wasn't gonna be able to start until after I seen parole.
So
But I went twice to tier 4. The first time I went in, I ended up having an incident where I ended up breaking my tablet. They had me leave for 30 days, and I went back for the second try. The second try, I made it 4 months, and I was completely compliant. I was running AA meetings. I was doing everything I was supposed to do. It's just the politics upon inmates. I had enough one day, and I said, I'd like to leave.
He had enough.
I went to one building. I had the outside detail job. I kept doing everything I had to. I've worked the whole time I've been in DLC.
Okay. So, it's important to complete it. You're not going to learn everything in tier 4 by attending PCs.
Good morning. Good morning.
Time. And this is what you need, really. I mean, you said in your statement that, addiction, and clearly, right, we're reading the paperwork, this is what's going on here, right? So you need to have that part of your life in order. You really do. With a very good release plan and support system, so that when you leave, you don't want to find yourself back here in this situation, right? So, you talked about NA and AA. So besides what happened in tier 4, can you talk about what else you've done in those other programs to address your substance abuse?
Honestly, sir, I haven't been to too many NA or AA meetings. I did voices. I completed voices, and I talked to my father. My father has 25 years in Alcoholics Anonymous. Like, he's been clean I talk to him every night, and most of our conversations are about me trying to stay sober or me trying to work on myself and become a better person. He is the biggest support I have. I don't really have anyone else. My girl, like I said, my girl's got cancer, so she's not going to make it too much longer. But between her and my father, all we talk about is me coming home and being sober and doing what I have to do. I'm 37 years old. I leave here, I have nothing again. Like, I'm so disgusted with the way my life has turned out. Like,
Man.
I've worked for programs. I worked for Youth Challenge for almost 2 years in Hartford as a PCA. Like, I know all the tools that I need to be successful and to be sober. It's just I never take them out the toolbox.
Okay, you mentioned voices, and I see you've completed that, or about to complete, right?
I completed
it. So can you just talk about some of the things, sir, that you learned in voices? Some of these crimes that we're looking at here involve some victims and larcenies. So
with the voices, I learned they showed a couple of videos where it showed that looking at it from the other point of view, not looking at it from my point of view as being the thief, but looking for it as the point of view as the owner. Like, even with the stolen cars, it never came to mind when you're out there getting high or doing these things, what you put people through when you actually do them, whether it's having to go through the insurance, whether it's having to go through whatever they have to do to fix their cars or to get the money back for the stuff that was stolen. And then it helped me learn my anger. I have a little bit of an issue with anger. So they showed a lot of videos on anger and on people using drugs and crashing their cars and the outcome of, I could be high driving down the road and crash into someone and how that's going to affect them more than it's going to affect me. And it kind of shows you how it's a full circle, how it affects everyone around you and not just yourself. Me getting high and me messing up and me coming to jail has affected not just me, but my family, my mother, my father, everyone in my life. It's not just affected me.
No, they haven't denied him yet.
I never really looked at that aspect or that point of view until now.
Okay.
What do you guys think? Is he going to be found suitable,
So-
or are they going to deny him?
Again, reading over your files, trying to determine your suitability, sir, we noticed you had a disciplinary report for being in a fight this year in May, you know? So can you just give us a description of what happened?
I went to the gym. We went and played handball. The guy came back. We kind of had words. We were running our mouth to each other. I sat down on my locker. There's a video of it. I sat down on my locker, and the individual came up and just started punching me in the face. So I stood up and I fought back. If I didn't, if I didn't try to fight back, I probably would have been knocked out on the ground. So I stood up, I fought back, I defended myself. I did not take the first swing, I did not initiate the fight. I defended myself. I take accountability for it. I shouldn't have ran my mouth to him. I shouldn't have, it was my own. I definitely take accountability for the fight, but I defended myself.
Yeah, so, it did not say that you committed an assault where, you attacked somebody. We understand it was a mutual fight between two people. But I think where the problem is with this incident, where it lies, is the beginning part, right? Where the disagreement and the words, you need to create space at that point before it gets to this, and start thinking in advance a little bit about your situation and how receiving a disciplinary ticket just months before your parole hearing, how that's going to go, So it's not a good look for you.
Not a good look.
That, sir.
Yeah, sir. Honestly, it's kind of rough when you live in a dorm with 120 men. We're not all going to agree on everything at all points.
I get it. And you mentioned something about Tier 4 too, about the other people and the politics. You're going to have to find a way, though, not just inside, but also in life, to be able to get along with groups of people that may be different from you, have different views, and feel differently, disagree with you on things, and it can't result in you quitting or getting into a fight with someone in a physical altercation. It has to result in a positive way where you can make a positive ending to these things, because you just can't live your life that way, because it's resulting in these crimes that you have here.
Yeah.
We're gonna move on to your community releases in the past. You've been on probation and parole for a community release. You've had 7 failures. Did you realize you failed that community release 7 times?
I didn't know it was that many times, but yeah.
Yeah. So just like inside, when you're on community release, there's going to be lots of rules, whether you're in a halfway house, probation, parole, whatever it is. There are going to be lots of rules about washing a bowl or getting along with other people or whatever other kind of rule that they set, and you're going to have to abide by them. Considering all your failures at community release in the past, can you just talk about what you've done to prepare yourself to be successful this time, and how you've changed to be ready to successfully complete a community release?
I got a different outlook on life at this point. I talked to my mother not too long ago. We sat there, we were talking about my little brother and how his life turned out. At 29 years old, he's living in Rhode Island on Watch Hill with everything he ever wanted, because he listened to my parents and listened to what they were trying to tell him in life. I am 37 years old. I have, like I said before, I have nothing. This has been my life. I sit here and watch some of these older gentlemen that are 50, 60 years old still in prison. I don't want to be them.
Yeah. You're doing life on the stomach plan, my boy. You better wake up and smell that coffee.
Coming in this meeting, my whole outlook was on going to South Carolina and getting away from Connecticut and starting something. So a week ago, I got told, or 2 weeks ago, I got told she had cancer and she's on hospice and not going to make it. So it kind of, me coming in here right now is me kind of just like coming off the top of the head, because I don't know what to say. Mm-hmm. I know if I get the opportunity, you're not going to see me again. I'm not.
I doubt it.
37 years old. I've been doing this since I was 20 years old. I'm tired. I don't want to be fighting. I don't want to be fighting no more. I don't want to be beat up. I don't want to be bullied by these dudes. I want to be home. I want to have a life. I don't have kids. I want to have kids. I want to have that white picket fence at some point.
Can't have kids with your boyfriend. It's not gonna work.
Every mistake I've made in life, I've learned something from. Whether it was back when I was 18 with the ex-girlfriend to being here at 37, every mistake in life, I've learned something from it.
You mentioned South Carolina a couple times, moving from Connecticut, but just so we're clear, there are drugs in South Carolina, sir. It's not going to be, you're not going to just move there and then you're going to have that situation that you're thinking in your head where there's not going to be any more urges or pressure. That's not going to go away by moving from Connecticut to South Carolina. You understand that, right?
Well, this time around, I lived homeless. This time around, I slept at a gazebo. This time around, I slept under a bridge. This time around, I didn't shower for days because I didn't have nowhere to go. This time around, I got left by everyone. No one was around me. My parents wouldn't help me. I don't have no one. I remember my first bid, I could get on the phone and call 12 people, and they would spend money to hear my voice. I don't even call no one most of the time. I'll go days without calling anyone because no one wants to pick up the phone.
Exactly.
Bullshit that I've done. Excuse my language. Because of the stupid stuff I've done over the years to keep putting myself in this position. I'm tired.
You're tired. I'm sure your parents are tired. Your family's tired.
I'm getting old. Like 37. I got young kids in here running around calling me old G or old guy. Like I'm tired.
The old geezer.
Right. Well,
they'll probably let him go. I think they'll probably let him go with this board.
The other thing I wanted to just talk to you about before I pass this on to my colleagues so they can ask you some questions is a lot of these crimes involve you driving vehicles. What's the status of your driver's license at this point? Have you ever had a driver's license? What's the situation?
I got my driver's license when I was 17. I had it up until 2012 when I was incarcerated on the 5.5-year bid. I never renewed it. I didn't, and then when I got out, it was over the 2 years. I had gotten the permit and was doing the permit, was waiting to do the test, and I ended up coming back on a parole violation or something, so I never went and got the license. As far as like it being suspended or anything, they never told me anything.
But you don't have a valid license now?
No. I was working on it when I was living with my parents. Like I was going for the test. I had the permit. I was waiting to go for the test.
Okay. You talk about working when you get out. This is my last question. Can you just what kind of work do you envision for yourself when you're in the community to be able to support yourself?
I usually do landscaping or roofing. I've always been kind of like the construction guy, whether it was a laborer job or I'm pretty good on a roof. Like I've always done roofing. My mother owns a lighting store. She's been doing lighting retail for 30-something years. So she usually has a lot of work that she can get me through contractors, whether it's labor or not. And then my father does his own construction thing. I put in for a halfway house for New Haven for kind of like a change of scenery because I didn't want to go back to my area right off the rip. I wanted to kind of go somewhere else, get my mind right, get a job, save up a little money, then worry about going somewhere else. But I mean, my father's got work for me now if I was to get released.
He got that work for you.
Okay, Mr. Bruscato, thank you for answering my questions. I'm going to pass it on to my colleagues so they can ask you some questions.
All right, thank you, sir.
Mr. Rodriguez?
Thank you, Madam Chair.
Bruscato, you score out very high around your recidivism, around going back to prison. And you're a young man, you've been incarcerated 4 times already, you have a high level of successful releases. You took some program, you took voices, you talked about learning about your anger, and you have this anger issue, and then you get into a fight in May. I mean, I'm not sure how much you learned, those from the program that you've taken? Because, I mean, you didn't work whatever you learned at that point. You didn't walk away, you didn't stop running your mouth, you didn't like, right? Like you said, running your mouth caused the fight to begin with, right?
Yes, sir.
So, and I'm hearing that you want to do better. You want to kind of try to get your life together. You're kind of tired of all of this, but for me, your actions aren't showing that. I mean, you're not involved in treatment that really, you really need, because you have a history of, going back and forth related to drug addiction. So I'm just trying to, figure out what's going to work for you. What's going to work for you, because it's not. I'm sure you, in your prior releases, you thought you were going to, do better.
Yeah.
And you ended up not. You ended up homeless, right? There's nowhere to go, nobody to support you, nobody to help you out. Even that, you mentioned now that you picked up the phone now, you call somebody you don't know you'd call, but you don't know who would help you.
Yeah.
And I hear that. I mean, because what you were in was this ongoing pattern of using drugs, messing people up, right? Lying to people, stealing. You're doing all these things where you burn a lot of bridges.
Yeah.
Yeah, and it's hard to build them back. It really is. And one of the real challenges is you got to begin to work on yourself really seriously to do that. So I want to be honest and upfront with you that I'm kind of challenged by that in this particular situation. And I hear your concern about your girlfriend, and it's a terrible thing. I'm very sorry to hear that. I don't know what stage she's in or what's going on, but I'm very sorry to hear that that's happening for you. And I'm sure that's weighing very heavily on your mind. But you got to focus on you too. Because if you don't focus on yourself, how do you put your life back together? I'm going to tell you, the fighting ticket concerned me, because you had taken some programming, and you shared earlier that you had learned some things about your anger, but even with that, it still didn't kind of work out.
Honestly, sir, I didn't do voices until after that incident. I didn't do voices. I didn't start voices.
But you've taken other programming when you were incarcerated before, right?
Yeah, I took tier 2.
Yeah, you've taken other things. You kind of know. It didn't work for you, but you know.
Yeah.
You didn't work what you learned, but you do know. What you needed to do. And it did, and you said it. You have trouble with your anger. You readily admitted that, and I appreciate that. I do, and you accept the responsibility as well, which I also appreciate. So it's not that I don't think that you're not moving in a direction that's working for you. I just don't know that at this moment you're ready for that. With a very high score for recidivism, for work in the community, I'm gonna reserve my thoughts on my decision based on what I continue to hear. But right now I'm going to show I have those concerns. The fact that you have a long history, the fact that you've done some program already, the fact that you haven't really gotten control of your anger as of yet, the fact that you do have that disciplinary report that came up. I just want you to know where I'm at. I want to be honest with you.
Yeah,
all right?
I appreciate it.
Listen, whatever comes up, whatever happens, I would suggest that you continue working it as much as you can on getting the kind of programming that you need, maybe including an anger management course, again, to kind of, work this thing through. But the best of luck to you.
Thank you.
I don't have any additional questions, Chair.
Thank you, Ms. Rodriguez. But Ms. Bruscato, while my colleagues were speaking to you, I had an opportunity to go back and look at your prior parole hearings. And
yes,
on every one of those hearings, well, let me correct that. On your very first hearing for the sex offense,
What?
you had the 10 years of probation to follow your sentence.
Oh, denied.
So you were released out onto that. Then you came back from the board because you violated, right? And you stole a scooter or something like that. I don't even remember. But the panel still released you back out into the community even though you hadn't completed any programs that second time, and you still came back a third time. Third time, you had a flat sentence. They still paroled you, no programs.
All bad.
And you're back the fourth time now. And I'm looking at your decision information summary from your last parole hearing, and same thing. You had gotten a fighting ticket, and you said that someone spit in your face.
Oh, I don't blame them.
Sounds similar to what you're saying here today. I was sitting down, someone came and punched me in my face, and I had to fight back.
I hate when that happens.
They have it on video of the man walking up and punch me in the face. I take.
Mr. Bruscato,
You're running your mouth.
I'm not saying that I don't believe that that's what happened. I'm saying that you keep making the same decisions. People are giving you opportunities. You're getting the supervision when you're out in the community. I don't know how you're saying to us, I had nothing. When we've given you time to go out to the community, into the community under supervision, and you haven't done well. And they've let you do that without participating in programs. I cannot allow that to happen again today. You at least have to do something for me to show. And you didn't have a plan back then. They asked you what you were going to do to avoid this. You wanted to move to Vermont. You left Vermont with your girlfriend there. It's the same stuff all over again.
Calling them out.
I'm not here to lecture you. I just want you to know that we know what's going on. And I'm sorry as well to hear about your girlfriend, but you the best that I can do for you today.
Next.
And given the fact that you're serving a flat sentence, is to send you back for a year and have you come back before us. I'm not going to vote you to parole without program, sir. That's the best I can do for you.
Whoop, there it is.
I'll be in a halfway house in 6 months. My eligibility date's May for community release.
That's great. Okay.
And then 6 months it is.
I'm not with that. But that's my position. I can't make a decision. I'm just one person. That's my choice right now. We're going to talk about it, but I'm telling you, just like Mr. Rodriguez said, he was being upfront. I'm being upfront. That's the best I can do for you. All right. Give us a few minutes to talk about your case, sir. Mr. Vazquez.
Thank you, Madam Chair. Yeah, so Mr. Bruscato is 37 years old and has a long history of supervised release failures, as we've spoken about. He also has a disciplinary report from this year for fighting. And hearing his description of that incident, there was some time I think that he could have walked away from this, and this would have not been an issue. But in addition to that, he's been unsuccessful in completing Tier 4 several times. Probably the most important program for him, right? In addition to probably anger management or something else that's going on with him.
Something.
So there's just a lot of stuff going on here, and I think he needs more work. I do hear from him that he wants to be a better person, and he says he wants to live a life crime-free, and so that is good. And he does have almost 2 years left on his sentence. I'm not prepared to grant him parole today.
Yeah.
His end of sentence on here is August of 2026. I would be open to in August of 2025. We're here to give him another chance at this and potentially a year on discretionary parole if he can get the programs, the things that he needs to address his needs, which is clearly drug addiction, right? That he admits it, and likely anger.
I was about to say it's a few other things going on.
Right, but he has nothing that he's done or displayed, in my opinion, to support his offender change to make it so that he's suitable for today.
Mr. Rodriguez?
Thank you, Madam Chair. I'm also not in favor of discretion parole today. I would also be to give him an opportunity to come back in a year with some programming behind his belt.
Do you guys agree?
I also agree that I think he's moving toward wanting to do something, but and I can see the kind of the motivation that's driving him to do that. I would like to see him more prefer the motivation be himself than for the outside things he's done. But the full incarceration hasn't done a lot, anger issues, we've talked about them. I just think he needs more work as well. And I am not going to be supporting his discretion for it, but we'll support.
Rehearing. Yeah. So I don't think that Mr. Bruscato wants to rehear. He's made it perfectly clear that he'll be gone in 6 months on a halfway house if he's granted, and and that's perfectly fine. But my position is still to deny him today and rehear him. If he doesn't want his hearing, that's up to him. He can sign a waiver, but we'll give him another opportunity. And I'm fine with August of 2025. I have him denied inadequate program participation, and I also have constitutional adjustment.
Yes.
I know that there's a separate condition now, inadequate evidence of offender change. So those 3 reasons are the reasons for denial. We'll rehear him in August and give him another opportunity. Okay with that?
Yes.
Okay. With regard to Craig Bruscato 342753, I move that his discretionary parole be denied today based on his inadequate program participation, his poor institutional adjustment, and inadequate evidence of offender change. Further move that he be reheard in August of 2025, at which time he should have completed a tier program to be determined by the Department of Corrections, as well as any other positive programs that he can participate in, anger management. No more disciplinary infractions prior to that new hearing date. Is there a second?
Second.
All in favor?
Aye.
All right, Mr. Bruscato, you receive all of this in writing. Best of luck to you, sir.
A rato.
Report to session 5.
Next, the price was wrong on that one. So Ace, no, so yeah, yesterday I was checking out the toilet flushing noises or sound effects. So I got him. I just gotta convert them over and add them over to my doohickey over here, and I should have it by the next time I come on. So by tomorrow, hopefully. I just gotta
Yes, you're not.
We're looking for Mr. Duran-Colon. Ingram, we can do you first. You can say it. We'll start with you. Just give us 1 second. No, it's fine.
All right, and let me see. Ali, we got a comment over here on the another platform, the red one with the white triangle, and Ali writes, "I feel bad about his girlfriend, if that's true, but I definitely understand where the board is coming from." Shh, man, deny. Next, hey, if it would have been me, I would have, as soon as he sat down, hey, you gotta go. No bueno. No bueno.
My name is Parole Officer Martinez. Today is Wednesday, October 2nd, 2024, and this hearing of Connecticut Board of Pardons and Paroles. The following board members are present this morning, and by stating their names on the record, certified they have reviewed all statutorily required documents and available for information in preparation of the hearing.
Good morning, I'm Panel Member Cade.
Good morning, Panel Member Rodriguez.
Good morning, Robert Sazowskis.
Please state your name and inmate number for the record.
Good morning, it's Travis Ingram, 415-746.
What was his name?
This hearing is being conducted in consideration of the parole application for Travis Ingram, inmate number 415746.
Travis Ingram.
He is serving a sentence of 4 years, 6 years of special parole for criminal possession of a firearm in violation of probation with the underlying offense of stealing a firearm. As of today, records reflect the parole eligibility date of April 1st, 2025. There is no victim input in this case. There is an offender accountability for the offender. This has completed more than domestic violence has been employed in law. Utilizing the statewide collaborative offender risk evaluation system, the offender overall score of the SRT falls within the moderate range of risk for recidivism. This is your opportunity to express to the board why you believe you should be granted parole. You may begin, Mr. Ingram.
All right. I feel like I should be granted parole. I feel like I'm not a bad person. I feel like I just make bad decisions when I'm with certain people, places, and things, honestly. I learned a lot through these programs, and just because something is presented to you, or I want to say every action, there's a reaction. And it's your choice how you react to certain things, you know what I mean? So when I'm saying that is, if you're in a situation where you feel like you need a firearm
you're in a bad situation. You don't need to be in that situation at all. It's all about choices. And I seen that, honestly, I'm not just hurting myself, I'm hurting the people around me. I'm hurting my family. My son's out there and he's just looking for me. My baby mother's out there and she's just struggling without me. I didn't even notice that the things that I do affects them. And I feel like I just need to, excuse me?
I'm sure you did. I know you knew that this was affecting them. Your being in prison doesn't affect your family. You know that.
No, I'm saying I know it affects them, but I feel like I was being selfish. I feel like it affected me more, and I didn't expect to see half of the things that is getting affected by me being in jail.
All right. All right, Mr. Ingram. So you've done this before. You've been before a panel, and you know exactly what happened. So what's going to happen is Mr. Rodriguez is going to start with the questions, but I'm going to tell you right off the bat, what number weapon is this that we're talking about here?
This is my second firearm charge.
Why do I see 3?
Yeah.
The first one, it's not a firearm, miss. In 2000, I believe 15, I was on my way to court and I had a hatchet in the vehicle. A hatchet is a small.
Yeah, that's what a hatchet is.
Yes, ma'am.
But I'm not. So what about the firearm trafficking in 2016?
That was just one. That was one firearm. That was from the.
Just
the
one
charge I
firearm.
acquired.
The AR-15 is just one firearm, and you
Yes,
had,
ma'am.
but you also had a bulletproof vest, right? That you stole from police officers.
I stole from a state police car.
Yes, ma'am.
All right, sorry, I'm doing you something. Sorry.
That's what I tell you. You just got some topic about something I was going to say. I mean, this is not your first weapon charge. The weapon that you took with this, today. I mean, you know what's going on today with AR-15s.
Yes, sir.
Right? All the killings
Yes, sir.
that are going on. I mean, this is a really serious offense for a young man.
Yes, sir.
And what was the fascination? What was driving all this weapon stuff?
Back in 2016, when I caught the AR-15 charge, it was just me being an adolescent, and I was fairly young when I caught the charge, and that's what was going on back in 2016. We were just young, just thieves. So
you sold the weapon. You sold the weapon.
Yes, I never. It was never used. It was stolen.
You could have sold it to somebody who went into a school and killed a bunch of school kids.
Yes, sir. They got it immediately. They had the firearm immediately.
I got to be upfront with you, Mr. Ingram. Your history, for me, is very serious. Because of the weapon charges.
Yes, sir.
And it's just the things that are going out the street today. When I think about all the shootings and killings, a few weeks back, 14 people shot in New Haven.
Yes, sir.
And it's just such serious stuff. It's always young men who are doing this.
I totally understand that, sir. Me personally, I'm not a violent person.
Yeah, but you're dealing with violent things.
Yeah, I can't.
The potential for violence is there because of what you have available to you. So
Yes,
the potential for violence is there.
I'm not trying to justify it at all.
I'm glad.
Me personally, my environment that I'm in, I feel like I didn't feel like I needed a firearm to be secure. But there's a lot of people in my neighborhood that dies due to firearm and things like that, and I didn't want to be one of the statistics.
There's also a lot of people in the community that don't carry firearms.
Absolutely, absolutely.
Or if they do, they've done it legally. because they've gone out, they've gotten a permit, they've done the things that they need to do in order to obtain a firearm. And they learn how to use the firearm. They learn how to store the firearm. They don't hide it under a baby's crib.
Absolutely. Me being an adolescent at the time, I was robbed of that right to own a firearm and learn about safety thoroughly.
Okay, so let's talk a little bit about what's going to make you suitable to come out.
Yes, sir.
All right, so you did take some programming. You took the DV course because you have a couple of protective orders.
Yeah, I had a protective order with my my ex-girlfriend. When I came home, my last parole bid, I paroled to a halfway house. And my parole officer was surrounding at the time, and she told me, she was like, I know you want to get out the halfway house, why don't you parole to your girlfriend's house? And I paroled to her house, and it was just hectic. She was always kicking me out and things like that. And one day I finally ended up leaving, and it kind of got domestic. She was hitting me and things like that. So
You weren't
I
hitting
ended
her?
up I ended up catching a domestic case.
Was that because you were hitting her too?
It took a lot for me to get to that point, but yeah, it got physical.
Listen, one of the good things is that you don't have any tickets going on right now. You don't get any tickets since you've been there, which is a good thing.
Yeah,
Talk
trying to stay away from
Talk to me
people.
a little bit more about what you learned, both in your DV participation and in your voiceless participation.
In domestic violence, I pretty much learned that there's different types of abuse. It's not just physical, it could be verbal, it could be mental abuse. And a lot of the times people don't notice that you're being the abuser or you're being abused. So I feel like I learned a lot of things that can help me thrive when I get back out there.
Tell me what are the qualities of a positive relationship?
A positive relationships, just 50-50 is give and take. It's like if something isn't reciprocated, it's manipulation, I feel like.
You have 6 years of special parole to follow.
Yes, sir.
You're going to be placed on you are on the Deadly Weapons Offender Registry.
Yes, sir.
And
Excuse me?
that?
He wanted you to repeat what he said.
Oh, you're going to be signed up for the Deadly Weapons Offender Registry.
Yes, sir.
Yeah, they're in the registry. You're on probation for this offense.
Yes, sir. I did from 2016 to 2018 incarcerated for my first bid. I came home and I got off parole, and I was home for 5 years with the same job. And now, obviously, I'm back, but I can accomplish the 6 years, I believe.
It's going to be tough.
Nah, not at all. I'm tired of this. It's my last time coming here.
Yeah. You were out on community release 4 times. You had 1 successful time. 3 times you were unsuccessful.
Excuse me?
Community release. You were released to the community 3 times. The last probation was obviously one of them, but you got rearrested. What's going to make this release more successful?
I don't recall being released 3 times, sir.
But
You had a violation of probation in 2016, a violation of probation in 2023, because you were on probation this time, and you also received a Parole violation of when you were on parole or breach of peace. That's 3.
That's 3.
All right.
So
What's
what's
gonna be
gonna, I'll
different?
ask you again, what's gonna make this different?
The thing that's gonna make it different is I just gotta change my environment and do what I gotta do. I'm a father now, and everything I do is gonna be for him. I can't just keep opening this door to the streets, and if anything happens this time, instead of picking up a firearm, I could always just pick up the phone and call the authorities. Those are the people that's supposed to have the firearms. Like, I could just move a whole different. Stop trying to put on this persona of something I'm not. That's pretty much what I'm getting at. Like, I don't have to be for the streets. There's always another option.
Okay. Tell me a little bit about your substance abuse history. You're at 3,
You know,
which is not real high, but you have an addiction services on your OEP and you haven't taken it.
I'm actually in tier 2 right now. Like, literally, yeah. I did voices, I did domestic,
Yeah.
but when I first got to this jail, they told me that voices was on my OAP. So later on, when I wrote the voices, they told me it wasn't on my OAP, so I had to scramble and rush to get into tier 2 because that's what was on my OAP. So that's why it took me so long to get into the addiction services.
So how long you been in now?
I've been in it for the past 2 to 3 weeks.
Okay, so you just started.
Yes, sir.
Okay. That's it. 15 December?
December 5th.
December 5th, thank you. Okay,
Thank you.
I'm good, Madam Chair. Listen, thank you for answering my question, Mr. Ingram.
Yes, sir.
Thank you, Mr. Rodriguez. Mr. Vazquez?
Yeah, hi, good morning.
Good morning.
Yeah, so you mentioned that you're a father now and everything you're going to do is for your son and you're going to try to be supportive of him. But I hear you say that, but then when I read this report and that this gun was found under your son's crib with him sleeping in it, those are conflicting statements. So I'm trying to understand why. I understand you weren't taught about gun safety. You should never have had a gun in the first place. But out of all the places in your apartment that you could have hidden this gun from the police, or why would you choose under your son's crib? Why is that a good location for you?
That's a good question. I want to go back to the whole substance abuse thing. This guy had just asked me. It wasn't there to begin with. I can't justify any of my actions, period. But it wasn't there to begin with. I had a long night. I was drinking, and when the officers raided my house, so when they did kick in the door, my first reaction was to just like throw the firearm. It wasn't intentional to go under my son's crib.
You threw?
It wasn't intentional to go under my son's crib, baby crib, but it was in an actual fanny pack, and it wasn't just me throwing just throwing a firearm like anywhere. It was in the bag. It was on safety, and my intention wasn't to harm my son at all.
Yeah, I understand that, but I'm sure you had closets in that house, your own bed, other places. To me, it's just concerning when you're saying that you want to get out and do everything for your son, and those are great statements, but then your actions are saying something else. Because I haven't been in your apartment, but I can tell you there are lots of other places that you could have put that. Even when someone's breaking in the door like that, that would have been a better place than that. It just does not reflect well on you and your decision making.
No, I totally understand that, sir. And that's why I said the substance abuse thing. I was impaired at the time. I wasn't thinking correct. I wouldn't have did that if I was in a sober state.
Okay, so just to be clear, you understand that you're a convicted felon. You could never possess a firearm in your lifetime ever again. You understand that?
What about in
Yes,
his
sir.
what about in his dreams?
In addition to that, you have a protective order against you. So you cannot, because of the protective order, you can also not possess firearms. So there are a lot of reasons why you can't, and you could never possess a firearm.
Yes, sir.
Understand?
I understand that.
Okay. Did you know that when this happened? Did you know that you were a convicted felon and that you were not allowed to possess firearms?
Yes, sir.
Okay. Like my colleagues have said, gun violence is an epidemic in our area now. This is very, very concerning. This is the second one for you. It's not the first time.
Yes, sir.
And it makes us very concerned about, where you're at and what your thinking is. Did you know that gun was purchased legally just 17 days before they got it from you? Someone that was authorized to have that bought that gun only 17 days before the police got it from you. Did you know that?
Pikachu face.
No, I did not, sir.
Did you remember where you got the gun from? Did you buy it from a store yourself, or did you buy it from another person?
No, not at all.
I found it.
Honestly, I bumped into somebody, and due to what was going on in the past, like, there was a lot going on in my neighborhood, so I felt like this was my time to
shine?
protect myself and own a firearm.
Even though you were not allowed to possess firearms at that time. I don't want to keep going on and on about this, but it's just such a big problem in our community right now. That's why we have to just get through these questions about this. It's very concerning.
No, I totally understand that, and I have no problem answering any question that you have, sir.
Okay.
What do you guys
Ms.
think?
Ingram, you seem like an intelligent young man. You're articulate and you're able to answer our questions. I see that you only completed 11th grade. Is that correct?
Yeah, just due to the fact that I feel like I was worried about the wrong things, and I'm not the strongest reader, and I kind of got discouraged. And I started working at an early age, so it was like I could go to school, but everybody's having this stuff, and they got the fancy shoes, and I kind of got distracted on what was really important.
Got them J's.
All right, so what? You appear to be capable, sir. Like I said, you seem very articulate. You're able to answer our questions. You're understanding the things that we're talking to you about. What's your plan for your education? It's really the foundation for you to be able to have a life where you can gain employment and support your son and all the things that you're talking about. So
Yes,
do you have a plan, whether it's there or on the outside, to complete your high school diploma or your GED, however you want to take on this challenge?
Yes, sir. While I was here, I started the whole GED process and got discouraged while I was here because I'm more of the type of person I have to learn through lessons. I can't really pertain the information by myself because I was just telling you about I'm not the strongest reader. So if a teacher is teaching me lessons, it's easier for me. When I was home in 2018, believe it was 2020, I attended adult ed to finish my education. And then COVID hit, so it kind of pushed everything back for me. But the whole time I was home, the month after I got out of prison, I was working that whole time until I got arrested. So my job actually wants me back. I was actually an assistant manager at Restaurant Depot. So they actually wants me back. So I'm going to, as soon as I get off, I'm going back to my job just to get like my foundation right. And then I'm gonna go back to school at adult ed so I can get my GED. And hopefully after that, I'm gonna take a trade and just take care of my family.
All right. I hear what you're saying. It's important to prioritize things and then, make a list and at least in your mind and how you're going to get through these things and get a job. And I hear that from you about your release plan. So, Completed voices in a domestic violence program, right? You have a job still in the laundry?
Yes, sir.
Tell me about that job. What do you do there?
I like it a lot, actually. Instead of me cleaning up after people, you know, it's 120 guys in one room, so it's got to be harder than actually doing the whole laundry thing. It's just helping me, like, memory, actually. I know which guy got which bung, even if it's like, it's just, even if it's not labeled, I know exactly where everything goes. And I feel like that's helping the cranks kind of like move in my head.
Okay. Let's see if I got anything else here for you. That's it, Madam Chair, for me. He's answered all of my questions.
Okay.
Thank you, sir.
Thank you. Yeah, okay. So, Mr. Ingram, give us a few minutes to talk about your case and we'll give you our decision. Please don't interrupt, okay?
Yes, ma'am.
Thank you. Mr. Rodriguez.
All right.
Thank you, Madam Chair.
None of you guys want him to go free.
Ingram has done some positive things. He's been there, working a lot, being work. He has taken DB and completed voices. I think he has some understanding of victims in the community. But I would show you that the firearm charges, current one, the fact that he was on probation for a firearms charge, the fact that there were other weapons charges in his prior history, concern me around the issue of public safety in the community. I believe he could still use some additional programming while he's there. I think he should be able to work on his GED. I thought Panel Member Cybulski talked about it, the importance of getting his education. It's really very important for him to have some sort of foundation when he does come on the outside. He hasn't completed Tier 2 yet. He's not even done until December yet. I am really not support of discretion today. And I don't have him coming back either. Me as the nature of defense. I think he needs some additional programming for himself. He's a young man. I think he really needs to set himself up for a successful release. He's had 3 prior unsuccessful releases. And I think he needs kind of that foundation to be able to be able to be more successful than that. Well, I think he does have special rule to follow, which we can set as conditions for today.
All right, Mr. Sadowskis? Mr. Sadowskis?
Yes, I agree with Mr. Rodriguez that, you know, he still has some work to do. I do hear some positive things in his voice, and he is able to articulate how he wants to be different and wants to live a different lifestyle and take care of his son and be a good father. I just don't think that he's there yet. And I as well am concerned about public safety. Although this particular incident thankfully did not result in violence. These guns on the street and the fact that this is not the first time makes it very, very concerning. So I am also not in support of granting parole today. He has 2 years left here. So Madam Chair, I'd like to hear what you have to say about a rehear, but I would be open to that.
Thank you. So this was a case actually that I did not have a decision for. I wanted to listen to Mr. Ingram, and I was able to, you know, there's a bunch of holes in his stories. For example, he said he was drunk or high or whatever. Police came to his house at 6 a.m. What's $600? Whatever. That's what the police report said. 600. 6 a.m. Right? Right. You're drunk at 6 a.m. in the morning. That you throw a gun under your. Anyway, that's one thing. Nonetheless, Mr. Ingram is very, very young, and he does have a lot of time left to serve. I hated the fact that he was on probation for a weapon already, but it sounds as if he really does understand the magnitude of being in possession of these weapons and how they can lead to someone losing their life because of his mentality. So I I'm happy to hear that he's in a tier program because he was testing dirty when he was on probation, on parole before, using opioids, it said, and drinking alcohol. So I'm happy that he's in that. So he's not eligible for discretionary parole until April. So I would deny him today to have him finish some additional programs and then come back because he has so much time left. And I wouldn't even, I'm going to admit that some of it would be punitive. This is team too much. Stop. An AR-15, just start. And then I'm just like, you're on probation, and do you really think that they're not going to monitor your behavior or what you're doing? Like, they had to be watching or surveilling something for them to know that he had a gun on him just 17 days after it was purchased, or either someone purchased it for, like, it's just, the math is not mathing. So,
The math is not mathing.
I would give him another opportunity. He does have 6 years of special parole, so he's going to be with us for a very long time. So I would have him come back in a year. That's the best I could do.
I would reconsider also allowing him to come back, but I would deny.
Yeah. So we'll deny him today with criminal history. That's not going to change. He is on the cusp of change, so I wouldn't even list that as a reason. I would say that he has more work to do. So
we got nature, offense, criminal history. It's gonna be a lot.
yeah, so I mean, I don't need that many, but I would just, but they're all concerning. They're all things that we've addressed. So we'll give him another opportunity, not because he's impressed us today, but nonetheless. So we'll are you both okay with September?
Yeah, sure.
He's not eligible until April. So that's just a 5 more months to come back before us, and he'll still have 6 years of parole. He wasn't even registering with DWOR. Like, it's just for the sit here. Okay. Anyway, so we'll have him come back in September with positive programs and no VR. He's been able to do that so far. Are there any to finish the tier program that he's in? In regard to Travis Ingram, 415746, I move to deny discretionary parole today based on his criminal history, the nature and circumstance of his offense, and also his offense being committed while he was on probation. While the board understands that none of these reasons can change, we would like to see Mr. Ingram put forth a little more effort to his rehabilitation by completing the tier program that he's in and any other positive programs that he can enter into, and receive no additional disciplinary infractions prior to his new hearing date in September of 2025. Did I say everything?
Yes.
Is there a second?
Second.
All in favor?
Aye.
All right, Mr. Ingram, you don't have the strongest history here, based on what we've reviewed for your discretionary parole, but we're going to give you another opportunity because you're going to be with us for a long time. So go back there, do your best, and come back and see us in a year. You'll receive all of this in writing, okay?
Yes, ma'am.
Good luck to you, sir.
This one goes in here.
Good luck.
Next. How do you guys feel? How do you guys feel about the decision that the Board of Parole hearings made? All right, they were done with him. Yeah. All right, next. So we got the next individual coming up. I'm gonna step away for a moment, but I will be right back. Let me just go ahead and give you guys a glimpse of the next gentleman that's coming up. I don't know, the picture's a bit blurry right now. I'm not sure what's going on, but hey, we'll go ahead and work with what we got, and that's what it is. So right now I'm gonna check. There's supposed to be a hearing in Oregon coming up So I'm gonna check if I could get into it.
My name is Parole Officer Martinez. Today is Wednesday, October 2nd, 2024. This is the hearing of the Connecticut Board of Pardons and Paroles. The following board members are present this morning and by stating their names on the record, certified they have reviewed all statutorily required documents and available for information and preparation of this hearing.
Panel Member Page.
Good morning, Panel Member Rodriguez.
Good morning, Robert Sazowski.
Please state your name and inmate number for the record.
Good morning, my name is Louis Duran-Colon. My number is 417692.
This hearing is being conducted in consideration of the parole application from Louis Duran-Colon, inmate number 417692. He is serving a sentence of 13 years and 10 years special parole. Section sought second and 3 counts of illegal sexual contact. As of today, records reflect the parole eligibility date of December 15, 2022. There is no victim input in this case. The inmate was heard by the board on April 14, 2023, and he was denied parole, and a new hearing date was set for October 2024. The board recommended that the inmate complete the facility-based sex offender treatment program and any additional positive programming and remain DR-free. Since the last hearing, the offender has completed the following programs: facility-based offender treatment program and has applied for outside clearance, educational programs, and for a determined position. Utilizing the statewide collaborative offender risk evaluation system, the offender's overall score for risk of recidivism falls within the low range. Utilizing the STAC 99R, the offender's overall score for sexual recidivism falls within the low range. This is the opportunity to express to the board why you believe you should be granted parole. Wait again.
Why you need to?
Why do you think you deserve parole, sir?
Because I want to show you people I change. Yeah, I want to have another second chance to show you people I change.
How have you changed, Mr. Colon?
I try to stay out of trouble. I try to go to school, work, try to be busy. I don't like to be doing nothing in my black. Before I came here, I was working on the clothing factory for 3 years.
Yeah.
So, I like to do something for my life. It's a kind of work, at least educate.
Right. Well, that's good. The last time I was on your panel, you and I spoke extensively, and part of I think that my frustration was that you were using an interpreter and you understood what we were saying. I think you just felt a little more comfortable with someone speaking in Spanish so that you got your thoughts across to us.
The thing is, sometimes I understand, but sometimes to explain to you, I have to look the easy way to you understand me better.
Yeah. Well, I understand you perfectly fine, and I'm not going to ask you a bunch of questions because I spoke to you at your prior hearing. And one of the things that we asked you to do was not receive any disciplinary infractions, and you did. You got a ticket for refusing housing. Is that why you were moved from the facility to Cybulski? What happened?
No, the thing is, they told me it was safe to go to the school. You understand? So by the time I went to the school block, I got 30 people harassing me, bullying me because they want money. I pay $30, $50 monthly. I talked to mental health about that situation to help me, and they're refusing to help me because they want money from me because my charger.
Yeah.
So
it's not easy for a person in your position in there, and it's not supposed to be. I mean, we don't wish any harm on you, but we also understand the stigma that's associated with your charges. Speaking of your charges, the last time that you and I were talking, you denied that you committed these offenses. Is that still your position?
No, because I went to
sex offender treatment?
Yes, and you know, that thing helped me a lot to
It did.
understand.
Good.
Yeah.
That's what we want. That's why we thought you should have taken it. So tell us how
Yeah.
you can avoid being in this situation again.
Listen, it's like I told you, I want to try to keep my mind and keep me busy working. I going to do everything in my power, like the same way I do for the last 4 years. I be trying to work or going to the school, one of those two things.
Right. But do you understand that the behavior that you were displaying out in the community with these minor children, that we don't want that to happen again? You understand that, right?
Yeah.
Okay. Okay.
I want to try everything in my power to avoid any situation.
And that's what I'm asking you. You've taken the program. What have you learned in the program that's going to help you not do this again? And I don't want to hear working and going to school. What can you do? They gave you some specific things that you can do to avoid this happening again.
To avoid to have any relationship with any minor.
Right. That's one. Yep.
And
can't be no minors. Yep. What else?
Let me see. Is I thinking of something else?
You understand that you can't get into showers with other people too.
No.
And you understand that you cannot touch.
No, I cannot do anything like that.
Okay.
That's my priority to focus on be better.
Okay. And when you are released out into the community, it's not. Are you attracted to men? Is that
no?
Or okay, no, so you like one? Okay. I just wanted to ask that because it's important that you understand that anyone that you have a relationship with now, you're going to have to make sure your parole officer or your probation officer, or you don't have probation, you have parole. They know that you're in a relationship with that person now.
Yeah. I have to follow the rule.
You do. That's good. I'm glad.
I have to follow the rule because I don't want to come back and deal with this situation. I want to like at least go try to have my own apartment.
Yeah. Parole can help you do that. Parole can help you get your own place. They can help you save money and make sure that they can hold you accountable. That's why the court gave you that time. Yeah. It's not just so that they can bring you back to prison. It's so that they can help you transition from the facility back out into the community and be successful, have the resources, the things that you need out there. And one of the things that you're going to be required to do is to complete sex offender treatment in the community. Are you okay with that? While you work and go to school and all that stuff, you're okay with the treatment?
Yes, the only thing I want to ask you is they can put me as a social worker to help me to help me to look for the apartment or whatever.
So your mental health score is a 3. So maybe are you looking for a person to help you talk to that? A parole officer can help you find some place to stay and all that stuff too.
Yeah.
That's okay?
Yeah, that's fine with me.
Okay. All right. Do you think that you need more treatment, Mr. Colon?
Not really. I doing good for the last 4 years. After they started giving me my medication, I'm more calmed down.
Yeah. No, I'm saying when the sex offender treatment, do you think that you need more treatment to address why you committed these crimes?
No, I don't think I need more treatment. But if you told me I have to do more treatment, I do.
You will. That's gonna you don't have. It's not gonna be a choice. But I want you to understand that normal people just don't commit crimes like that. People don't do this type of things to children. So it's
Yeah.
important that we need to make sure that you address why you did it and how you can avoid it in the future. And you'll dig into that deeper when you're out in the community. Okay.
No. I'm focused.
So, Mr. Colon, I'm almost done, but I'm going to say that, part of the reason why we denied you was, one, because you were denying the offense. You're now saying that you admit to committing the offenses. You hadn't completed the treatment. You did the treatment like we asked you to. We asked you not to get any tickets. You got a ticket, but I'm not going to hold that against you because I understand your situation in there. One of the problems that I had with your other tickets were that you were very disrespectful to the Department of Correction employees in there. And I did not see that with this new ticket. So I'm hopeful that you're turning over a new leaf. You have a lot of work ahead of you still. You really do have a lot of time. But since you were able to do what I asked you to do, or the last panel asked you to do, I am going to support your discretionary parole. But it's important that you utilize your parole officer, whoever that person may be, as a resource. Develop a rapport with him or her, because it's not going to be easy. Life the way you knew it before you came into prison, that's done. They're going to be in your business nonstop.
Yeah, I know. It's
just like they are in there, I'm sure.
I know it because it's hard to be here in jail with my situation. So I imagine outside that got to be more hard.
Okay. All right. Mrs. Vazquez.
Hi, good morning.
Morning. How you doing?
Good. We read through all of your case. And, I'm happy to see that you completed the sex offender treatment program. And I agree that you would benefit from more of that. You've discovered some things and you've come to some realizations during the program that I think have helped you. One of the things that I read in here is that I did not read from the initial paperwork is that heavy drinking on the weekends was a problem and a potential risky situation for you. So have you thought about drinking when you get out and how you're going to prevent?
No, because before I was not even drinking. By the time in my younger age, I never drink. I started drinking in my 40s. Before that, I never drink before.
Okay.
So I go to right now. Drinking is not my problem. It's nothing in my schedule. I want to focus to try to do better.
Good, because I read that you were drinking heavily on the weekends, like a reward. Yeah, like a reward because you worked all week, and that was one of the things that could have led to some of these other things that have happened, sir. So I think you really need to have a plan in your mind that you are not going to drink. It's just another factor that could lead to something that you don't, you coming back here. Okay. Do you understand that?
Yeah, I know. I never, I'm not going to drink.
Okay.
Plain simple.
Okay. And I'm glad to see that you've taken responsibility for your actions. In the past, you've had trouble with that. And I understand your situation. It's difficult. And but you've gotten past that obstacle at this point and are ready, to move forward in a more positive way, having acknowledged what you've done. These are very serious. These are very, very serious charges, sir.
I understand that.
Do you remember taking the Voices program? Do you remember that?
Yeah, I take Voices. Okay. I finished that maybe like 4 years ago.
It was 4 years ago?
Yeah.
Okay, so it's been a while, right?
Mm-hmm.
But they talk about victims. You remember that?
The what?
They talked about victims in that program, right?
Yes.
And the effect you would have had on victims?
Mm-hmm.
What do you think the effect you've had on your victims is? What do you think they're experiencing, the victims in this case?
Terrible. You know, the way I see things now, I feel awful because I know they're going to be hard for them.
You think they trust people, that they have problems trusting people?
What
Do you think they would have problems trusting people, family members? Do you think they?
Yes. I need to show those people I can't be trusted again.
Okay. You're not going to be able to have contact, regardless of what happens today. Whenever you get out, you can't have contact with the victims in this case. You understand that, right?
Yeah. I tried to live in another city, town, whatever.
Okay. It's important to not make the situation worse for them, so that you don't have contact with them.
No, I don't plan to have any contact.
So where, tell me about what kind of work you want to do. I see that you were working inside, right? You had a job there?
Yes, I was working on the clothing factory. I was working like a dealman, cleaning the bathroom. I'm flexible. I do whatever they need. But instead of going outside what I'm going to try to do on the same thing I was doing before. I do welding.
Welding?
Yeah, so I want to go back to do welding.
Okay. Have you talked to anyone? Do you have any job offers, or do you have any plan on where you might work?
The thing is, right now I'm in jail. I don't have I don't have access to go to the internet to send any application to those people. So right now I cannot do nothing about it because I'm here.
But you're trained to be a welder.
Yeah, I went to school. Yeah, I worked maybe 16 years doing welding.
Okay. All righty. Well, thank you very much for answering my questions, sir, Madam Chair. That's all.
Thank you.
I don't have any questions, Madam Chair.
Thank you. Are there any objections to his request? Are there any objections to his discretionary parole? I have quite a few conditions. Listen, this is going to be 15 years if he goes out. 15 years of parole he's going to have to do. So I have no minors, no victims, problem sexual behavior, treatment, a halfway house, and a mental health evaluation. Anything else?
Did you have
The alcohol?
No alcohol. I do.
He's.
Yep.
And then
And the victims are,
what about this pornography?
I had a question mark with that.
There was some information in here.
Well,
There was,
Mhm.
or not, but I didn't see it in the SO evaluation, so I was thinking that,
Want to let the parole officer make
yeah,
that
but
decision?
yeah, let
That's
the
fine with me.
parole officer,
CIC.
once he gets into treatment, if they think that it's problematic for him, they'll bring it back and have us add it.
Okay. So it's alcohol, halfway house. Did you have mental health evaluation?
Mental health evaluation, no sexual behavior treatment,
Mhm.
no minors, and
Yes.
no victims.
Okay.
So with regard to Louis Duran-Colon 417692, I move that to grant him discretionary parole on or after today's date, October 2nd, 2024, with the following conditions in addition to the standard parole conditions. You are to consume no alcoholic beverages. You'll have no contact with your victims. Their initials are FC, IC, HC, or BG. You'll also have no contact with minors without the parole officer's permission. You'll participate in a mental health evaluation and receive treatment as deemed necessary. You'll also participate in problem sexual behavior treatment out in the community, and you've requested a halfway house for residential placement, and we'll add that as a condition as well. Did I say everything?
Yes.
Is there a second?
Second.
All in favor?
Aye.
All right, Mr. Colon, you'll receive all of this in writing, sir. We wish you the best. You were granted today's date, the on or after date, and they'll figure out when someone will meet with you in there, okay?
Thank you and good day.
Good luck, Mr. Delroy.
I definitely need it. Thank you.
7692.
He said he,
All right, guys, my apologies. I had to. I was setting up another parole board hearing in the state of Oregon. So I was having some technical difficulties. I was trying to get it up and running before it started. So I was just scrambling around, if you will. Hey, what happened with that other dude? Did they let him out, or did they boot him? If you guys don't mind sharing. Let me see. You have work? No. Today I don't work today. So today I'm gonna be on. For as long as I could be on today. He got what? He got out? Nah, damn, that's all bad. When will you do Iowa? Iowa didn't have anything for Iowa today, or else I would have done it. Today I could only find Utah, Connecticut, and Oregon, and Vermont.
2024, and this is the hearing of the Connecticut Board of Paroles. The following board members are present this morning, and by stating their names on the record, certified they have reviewed all statutory required documents and available for information in preparation of this hearing.
good morning, I'm panel member Page.
Good morning, panel member Rodriguez.
Good morning, Robert Sazowskis.
Good morning.
Take your name and inmate number for the record.
Let's put him up on the screen.
Norman Lewis, 69047.
What do you think Norman Lewis is there for?
Conducted in consideration of the parole application for Norman Lewis, inmate number 69047. He is serving a sentence of 19 years jail for criminal liability to robbery first, conspiracy to robbery first, and to fair resisting. As of today, records reflect the parole eligibility date of October 27, 2024. There is victim input in this case. There is an offender accountability plan for the offender and has been reviewed and the offender has completed the following programs. Mr. Lewis has completed people empowering people thresholds and was previously employed as chairman when incarcerated at Cheshire Correctional Institution. Utilizing the offender risk evaluation system, the offender's overall score on the RT falls within the moderate range of zone. This is your opportunity to express to the board why you believe you should be granted parole. You may begin, Mr. Lewis.
You understand the word you just said, but
Now is your opportunity to explain to the board why you should be granted parole.
Trafficking.
Opportunity why I should be granted parole. Well, I did my time. I got a year left for discharge. I've done my lesson. I don't. Why I should get parole. I got a family, I got kids, I got everybody. I learned my lesson. I'm not going to do anything else. Just going to go on with life. I don't understand, why I should be granted parole, because it's my time. I believe it's my time, and I've done everything I possibly could. The time and stuff. Got loved ones out there. I really don't know exactly how to go about the answer to that. Why I should be granted parole. There's a lot of reasons why I should be granted parole. I got family, I got wife, I got kids, I got grandkids just waiting on me.
Those are not reasons, sir. Those are not reasons that you deserve parole. We all have children, grandchildren, families.
I understand that.
The question was, why do you think you deserve parole?
Because I learned my lesson.
Oh, okay.
And I'm sorry for what had happened. I regret everything that went on. I don't,
What do you think the impact of your actions had on the victims?
It was bad. It was bad. I spoke to the victims. It was pretty bad. She explained to me, what she went through, and, I spoke to her.
That would be something to mention in your opening statement. Aside from I learned my lesson, how did you learn your lesson? What happened? Those kinds of things is what we're looking for when the officer asked you why you think you deserve parole.
Because I'm
Didn't
done.
when she interviewed you, didn't she tell you that we were going to ask you that?
No, she didn't really, she just asked me a lot of questions. I floated in, why she asked me why I feel as though I should grant parole, and I told her. I told her that, I have a family, I learned my lesson, I'm done.
Yeah, no, you're repeating yourself. But I'm saying that I'm sure that she told you that maybe, we were going to ask questions, and that would be one of them. So I wish you really would have prepared something. But nonetheless, we've prepared. We've read your file thoroughly, and we have some questions that we would like to ask you, sir. And when we're done with that, we'll turn the hearing over to our victim's advocate for input from the victim. Then we will deliberate, and we will give you our decision. All right? Best of luck to you, sir. Mr. Vazquez.
Hello, good morning, sir. I listened to your, right here, I'm listening to your statement, and I was, had made a note here that I was also concerned about your lack of recognition of the victims. That's what this is about, right? It's not about the things that you want when you get out, right? We're talking about a violent crime. A violent crime, sir, I know it was a long time ago, and you've been in there a long time, I get that. We've read your file, but that does not lessen the impact. As you know, you've talked to the victim, you said. How did that come about?
Yes.
How did that come about where you talked to the victim?
When I spoke to the victim, she said she was surprised that I was still incarcerated and that she thought that I would be, and it was all forgiven. I spoke to her for a good 4 or 5 minutes. I went to I had a modification hearing, and the victim, she came, well, she was on the same thing, same setup we have here. And I spoke to her through the screen, and she spoke. And one of the victims was deceased, and the manager of the bank, she spoke. She said she was surprised that I was still incarcerated, and that she spoke on my behalf that they should let me out. That was one of the reasons why they took some time off of my bid, because she spoke on my behalf, and the prosecutors spoke on my behalf.
Okay. So in this case, you and your defendant were armed with guns and went into the bank. You were on federal probation at the time, which is also another concerning and aggravating factor to us that, at the time of the offense, you were already on probation for other crimes.
Right.
So, and you said you spoke to the teller recently, at your modification hearing. So, I mean, do you understand the effect, the long-term effect that the victims would have experienced, for probably years after this, sir? You know what I mean? Probably still now. I mean, having something this dramatic.
She said she was surprised that I was still incarcerated at the time. I have my co-defendant. I mean, he's been out of incarceration since about 6 years now.
I get that, and I understand that she was surprised that you were still in jail. But what I want to know from you is that I want to hear your understanding of.
I understand what she went through. Understand how she felt, and and I'm sorry for that. I mean,
Yeah.
I mean, I don't know what more to say. I just know that I would never put myself in that situation again. And now I mean,
if you're a family member, just I guess think of it this way: we're just working, trying to make a living, and then someone came and stuck a gun in their face, right? You can imagine how that would affect your children, your grandchildren, right? Your wife, people like that.
Yes, I do. Yes, I do.
Okay.
And how that would affect them. And she explained to me how it affected her, what I mean? But I guess she was able to deal with it a little better, what I mean? Because she was more on my side when I went to the hearing,
Okay.
But yes, I understand that.
Okay, sir. I'm going to move on. You're 65 years old now. And at this point, sir, we're hopefully seeing some change. You've been in jail for a long time in prison. But when I'm looking over your records, I see in 2022, You were in a fight with 2 other inmates.
Well,
Can you just talk
yeah, I
about
can
that a little bit?
explain that.
Yes, sir.
I can explain that. 2 other inmates got into a little people. One of the inmates that I knew, he was real sick. He had a lot of medical problems going on. What I stepped in and broke up the fight, and that's how I got caught up in the situation. I wasn't really fighting. I didn't get it physically. You know, I got into it, but a 0 tolerance. So, I mean, I caught a ticket too. I went down with it, you know. And I just, yeah, that was correct. Though. I was in a confrontation during that time, but that's what had happened.
So you were breaking up a fight. It wasn't a fight between you and.
No, it wasn't. No, it wasn't nothing to do with me. It was between them 2 inmates, and I didn't want to see one of the inmates get hurt, like real, because he was real sick. You know, he had a lot of medical problems, so I just stepped in, which was my mistake. I shouldn't have never. I was happening to be right there at the time, so kind of like just got in between the middle of them while they fighting, and you know, it's 0 tolerance, so I went down with that.
So you realize you have a federal detainer still, even now, to serve another year and a day. You understand that, sir?
Yes, sir.
All right. So depending on how all this plays out, I mean, at some point you may have some community release where you're under supervision by parole or probation. Do you understand that?
Yes, sir.
All right. But in the past, when you were younger now, you struggled. In fact, this crime was while you were on probation, you know? You've struggled to complete community release successfully. Like, what's different now than in the past? If you're given some type of community release, that you're going to be able to follow the rules and successfully complete it and not be back here, sir?
I don't know.
I can guarantee you that I'm a lot older now, and you know, I've lost a lot since I've been incarcerated. Yeah, I definitely believe that, you know, that I can complete any community release that was given to me. I can do it because I mean, their life of crime and all that stuff is over with. It's been over with for a long time. I just haven't had a chance to show. You know, I've just been sitting here the whole time. I haven't had a chance to prove myself.
Well, I read something about something that happened in 2019 where you had a chance.
This is Connecticut.
Yeah, you had a chance to prove yourself and show some change when there was an incident that happened with another inmate. And you helped someone. Do you remember that?
No sé.
Not right. No, sir, I do not.
You remember?
I'll be helping inmates all the time. Just don't be on record, you know.
Do you remember helping another inmate in a suicide attempt? Do you remember that incident?
Damn, he helped somebody off themselves?
Matt Dougal. Yes,
what
sir,
happened?
I do remember that.
Well, you had a chance, sir. So what happened that day? Do you remember that? It's 5 years ago, but it's important.
Yeah, I remember that.
What did you do? What was going on and what happened?
The guy, I was sitting there waiting for child, and the guy, he was on the top chair. I seen him with a piece of string, tied it around the rubber. I didn't think anything of it. But once he put it around his neck and jumped, you know, it shot me, and I ran over and I grabbed him, and I lifted him up so he wouldn't be hanging. I was holding him up while one of the other guys went upstairs and untied him, and then, you know, to get him down. He was trying to kill himself. I believe if I wouldn't have did that, he would have been very successful with it.
Yeah, that's my understanding, was that from reading about that he would have, if you didn't help him, that he would have probably not survived that.
Yeah, that's correct.
It takes away the violations.
See what else I have here.
You know, certain words or trigger.
So in your release plan, in the paperwork I read, you talked about applying for Social Security and then possibly working part-time. Can you talk about what you think you might be able to do to work part-time?
You know, I was working when I was out there before. I had a job working at J.C. Penney's, but I had check for Social Security, and they had to approve me, but I didn't want to take it because I was working at the time. That was a long time ago. Since then, you know, I had a few problems back and stuff like that. I was saying if I couldn't find a job that I was telling the lady, Miss Martinez, if I couldn't find a job that I can do, I was considering giving on Social Security because I was accepted for it before, you know.
What kind of work would you be looking for? Like, what do you envision that you could do?
Well, I can cook.
Okay.
I can cook. I'm a cook. I mean, you know, I've been doing that. I've been since I was a kid, cooking off and on. I can do factory work, you know, assembly stuff like that. At my age now, I don't want to live too high because my back is killing me. So I don't mind working, but I just don't want to use my back too much. So a job that I can maybe sit down and sit on stuff, something like that.
Okay. I know you mentioned your co-defendant a couple of times. We've talked about him and that he's out now, right?
Yeah, he's been out for like 6 years now.
Okay. Have you had contact with him?
No, I haven't had direct contact, but he spoke to my wife and see how I was doing that. He sent me a few dollars to my wife, gave me a few dollars for my commissary. He's working and stuff like that. He's doing pretty good.
That's good. So I just have one more last question. You know, when this incident happened and they caught up to you later, you know, you fled from the police and it caused all these car accidents and all of this when this came to a head. Yeah, that's the answer. I know that was a long time ago, but did you have a driver's license at that time? What's the situation with your driver's license now?
Well, they suspended. Yes, I had one at that time, and they suspended by not renewing them over the term. I can, I believe now that you have to go take 24 hours school or something like that. That's where I hear that you know, to be able to get your driver's license back. I have considered that whenever I do get out, if I can get my license back.
Okay, well, thank you for answering my questions, sir. I'm going to turn it back over to my colleagues, and they're going to ask you some more questions. Madam Chair.
Thank you. So, Mr. Lewis, I just have a few follow-up questions for you. One of the things that I noticed is that although you admitted to committing this crime, you took this case to trial. Why?
Because the attorney I had was telling me one thing, and he told me that they offered me 20 years, and that he can give me lower time in 20 years, get me down to like 9 or 10 years. And actually, he said he wouldn't come down off of the 20 years, so it didn't make no sense for me not to go to trial. And knew they was going to give me 20 years. We're going to trial.
Okay, all right.
You know.
So, I mean, you know that by going to trial, you re-victimized everyone that was involved, and
what?
And I'm sure that there was testimony, and you heard all of that.
How are they going to use that against him?
Yes, ma'am.
Yeah. One of the other things that I wanted to ask you about was you. Give me 2 seconds. Thank you. And I knew I was going to forget.
All right, sorry.
I forgot, and I didn't write it down, and I do apologize.
You forgot about it?
It wasn't. I'm trying to just wait to see what will come back to me, and it's sad because as you were talking, I was making notes even.
And my apologies, I'm running in between these different streams and stuff, replying to messages on different computers.
If I have any other questions, I'll ask them when we're done listening to the victim. So At this point, sir, we're going to turn the hearing over to our victim's advocate, and we ask that you listen, but please not interrupt. Okay?
Like my daughter says, she forgot about it.
Good morning, Miss Williams. 5 minutes left.
5 minutes. All right, all right. How's everybody out there doing
Mrs. Williams?
in virtual land? Hello?
I hear her talking, but you're muted.
I'm right here. I'm here. Can you hear me now? Hello.
Oh,
There you are.
I know, I heard you.
difficulties.
Okay.
Okay.
Sorry to hear that.
Did hear from one of the victims, and she asked that I relate to the following. Good morning. As a victim of inmate number 069047, I am still traumatized from this incident. Even though he has been incarcerated, I still live with the trauma of a gun being held to my head. I had to change my line of work after 34 years because every day I entered the bank, I felt that this would happen again. I still remember the incident as if it was yesterday. Even though I have forgiven him, I still have the scars and my life is altered forever, especially every time I see incidents of gun violence. Thank you.
Thank you. I cannot believe I can't remember my question.
I hate when that happens.
Oh, well. All right.
Oh, well, next.
So we appreciate the victim input. We're going to deliberate and give you our decision, sir. Again, please do not interrupt.
What do you guys
Thank
think?
you.
What do you guys think?
Mr. Cybulski.
Is he ready to go? Should we put a fork in him?
Yes.
Put a fork in him?
Mr. Lewis
'Cause he's
is
done.
now 65 years old. He's been incarcerated a long time. He has another year left until the end of sentence. He also has a federal detainer for 1 year and 1 day to serve after he's completed his Connecticut sentence. It's a very serious crime. His co-defendant is already released. Mr. Lewis has a long criminal history dating back to the 70s. He has a flat sentence here. I would like to see him have some community supervision. I just don't know how we get there with this other sentence. So I'd like to hear from my colleagues and hear what your opinions are on this. Him moving forward to serve his federal sentence.
So typically what would happen if we were to grant him discretionary parole today, he would be released to his federal detainer. And he does have that year and a day to satisfy.
He ain't going nowhere.
If they decide that they want to release him prior to his serving that sentence completely, their sentence expired.
Man, I lost my brush to brush my mustache over here.
It would be up to them whether or not he would be on discretionary parole, and then he would be under dual supervision. So that's what would happen. If he is denied parole, then he would serve out the 1 year that he has remaining with us, and then he would be still released again to the federal to serve out the remainder of that sentence. So it would be actually that's 3 really, because they could still have him serve out his whole time and he not receive any supervision, or they could release him early and he would be supervised under dual supervision. So what are your thoughts, Mr. Rodriguez?
Madam Chair, Mr. Mitchell has been in a long time already. So these were very serious offenses. We heard the impact on one of the victims. There were other victims. Other victims heard the impact. We did have a sentence modification that was made, and where one of the victims did speak on his behalf.
Same victim that spoke here. That was, she wasn't on his behalf. But it was the same victim.
Well, they're two conflicting stories.
Well,
anyway.
Black and white doesn't lie. It's right here on my page.
So the charges are very serious. I mean, he is going to have to do his federal time. Taking some programming, been there a long time, but
Man,
For me, I know that to disclose to you, it really, he came in, that's what I wanted to ask him about. He wanted to waive his discretionary parole. That's, I knew it was something. He wanted to waive discretionary parole and then he recanted it. Why?
crickets.
And so he signed it just in June. And then when did he ask for?
Next quick,
Okay.
when I had to explain it, that's not how it works.
So he thought that if he waived and he went there, that he would,
No, it was just, thought if he waived, that would automatically begin the final detainer time.
Right.
Yeah, just finished the
But we're not the ones who's called them to pick him up. It's right. But they're the charm.
Okay, all right, thank you. So, for me, this victim, although she did in this, transcript from the modification, it does say that she did forgive him. I think Mrs. Williams said the same thing in, the statement that she read today. However, the traumatization is still prevalent. And if so, she wouldn't have been so advocate of them. She wouldn't have been so adamant about participating in today's hearing because we didn't receive notification that she was going to participate until just this morning. So it was that important to her. She also participated in the modification hearing and she expressed her concerns there. He was granted the modification and I think that was good enough. So for me, my vote will be to deny him, to let him finish his sentence with us and then go on to the feds. That's my position. So if that changes item of your.
Yeah, Madam Chair, I agree. I would really like to see him be under some type of supervision, but ultimately that's really just going to be up to the feds, and it's not going to be up to us regardless of what we do today. And that was my biggest concern, and we just aren't really able to make that happen because of his detainer. So I agree with you, and I'm in denial today, and we will just let this run out until he goes to the feds, in my opinion.
Thank you. All right. So I have the nature and circumstance and injury and impact to the victim. I move that Norman Lewis 069047 be denied discretionary parole based on the nature and circumstance of his offense and the injury and impact to the victim. You will not receive a new hearing and you will EOS off this sentence onto your federal detainer. Is there a second? All in favor? Aye. All in favor?
Aye.
Thank you. All right, so Mr. Lewis, you'll receive all of this in writing, sir. We wish you the best. We couldn't support you today.
This concludes the hearing for Norman.
No, I couldn't understand it. That's. Yeah. No.
All right, my apologies. I got a phone call from prison, and then I also I went ahead and changed my shirt because that other shirt was definitely throwing me up. It was throwing off my equilibrium. Let me see right here, boss. Have you ever interviewed any inmates, convicts after the hearing? You know what? I thought about reaching out to some of them to see what they have to say, but I haven't done it yet. But it is a good possibility that I might start doing that to check what their thoughts on it. Their thoughts is on it. Right now they're currently on timeout right now. Let me see if I could speed this up a bit, and we could go ahead and get on to the next one. Just give me a moment here while I figure this out right here. All right, window capture. All right, let's see. Yeah, we're about 8 minutes behind, so I'll speed it up, and hopefully it'll start it by that time. Okay. Nope. All right, right now we're in real time right now. It looks like they still haven't started it up yet, so we just gotta. Well, we don't have to, but I'm gonna hang out here to wait for the next one. So how is everybody doing? I guess it's all on me right now. All eyes on me. How is everybody out there doing? I appreciate all of you guys that tune in, day after day, hour after hour, and it's definitely giving me a glimpse of what happens behind these board of parole hearings. So right now, I'm actually running 3 streams right now. I'm on this one, which is Connecticut. We also have a stream that's going on from Utah, and then I also got a new one that I've never done before from the state of Oregon. But that one, they're only having one individual. So from one of the gentlemen that they put a comment on there, I guess he did a robbery with his homies, and they ended up unaliving the victim. So, but I'm not sure how long he's been in. I have to go back and play it back because unfortunately I'm not a multitasker over here. Let me see. Best live on TTA. Gracias, very highly appreciate it. No, good. Yeah. Man, you know what? I like the other way, the way that I used to do my other lives, where I could like put, I would put like the chat up here in the top, then in the middle I would put the individuals on the conversation, then I would put myself down at the bottom. I think that was like the best layout for me, but unfortunately, the way they're on me right now, I can't do it. I can't do it. Like my daughter says, I can't do it. No puedo. I'm not sure what's up with the algorithm, but it's definitely targeting me. So let me see. Nisha, dang, well, I have the stream on while I work. It makes my work day go by fast. Hey, I'm glad you're enjoying it. Today, I'm off today, so I'll probably be streaming the better part of my day. I am going to be doing some phone calls. So if you guys want to listen in on some phone calls from prison, from Centinela State Prison, I'm going to be having David and Jesse coming on at about noon. And I believe if everything works out with this hearing here, I'm going to be having Silas Johnson, also from Centinela State Prison, from like 10:30 to like noon probably. So it's definitely going to be a long day for me. And then we'll see where else the day takes us. I got I got some new individuals coming on, hopefully in the next few days, expanding over to different prisons. So that's what's in store for us, in the coming days, in the coming weeks. Hopefully, we're able to do a release sometime soon. Whenever I have the ability or pretty much the availability, and somebody gets found suitable to be paroled from the state of California that I'm speaking with, I'll normally go out there and meet up with them, capture that on video in real time, share it on TikTok. I remember the last time I was out there was in August. We had Jeremiah coming home, and we had that was the first time that we went on TikTok, and we had 300 people watching it live on TikTok. But then like towards the end, they ended up booting me, and I think my account, I think they restricted my account for like 3 days because the chat was it was bananas. It was definitely bananas that day. And let me see, probably not. Thank you for sharing with us, man. Hey, thank you guys for hanging around. It's definitely been a struggle with trying to figure out exactly what works and what doesn't work, and these parole hearings definitely do work as far as people being interested in watching them and listening to them. And for those of you that are not familiar with my my other streaming platform, which is the red logo with the white triangle, I have different types of interviews over there. I got journeys of individuals that have been in prison for decades, 10, 15, 20, 30 years, in some cases. And they've shared their journeys with us. Damn, the dude from Oregon is crying. I wonder what's happening. So yeah, I do video visits whenever I go on vacation, and I bring them along with me, and I share the 15 minutes of my vacation with them. So we have a wide variety of different. I don't like to say content, because these people are not content. It's their life, and they're sharing it with us and giving us a glimpse into how they ended up where they ended up. What they went through in their life that caused them to go down that route. So, all right, let me see the comments right here. Let me see what made you want to do this kind of content. So stories. so you know what? I grew up in LA. And in those streets, they were rough. They were mean. So a lot of the people that I grew up with, they ended up going to prison. They ended up going to county jail, YA, and they ended up in those type of places, or even worse. They ended up losing their lives in the streets. So I can definitely relate with some of the things that they've been through. And I had a friend, or I have numerous friends that have been been in and out of prison, and I would be that friend that they would always call, because I would pick up their calls. So about maybe like 3-4 years ago, I thought about like I should start up a YouTube channel and share their journeys with the public. So finally, I had a friend, and I asked him, I was like, hey, what would you be interested in? Or I was like, if you're not interested, at least if you could make some connections for me, for some people that would like to come on and, share their journeys. And a few months later, he got me the first person. And ever since then, it's been nonstop. And it's been about a year now that I've been doing this on the other platform. On this one here, on TT, I just started. I think I started in March, late March, and the first video that I put up did really well. It kind of surprised me. I think I was able to get about 1,000 subscribers within like 3 or 4 days. It was bananas, because prior to that, like in the beginning of March, when I opened up the account, I had about I think maybe like 11 subscribers, and then I uploaded that video, and it went bananas. Ernest, can I ask you a question? For sure, shoot. That's what I'm here for. We got nothing on the screen right now, so let me see. Are we still waiting? What's the time? Is it still going, or are we waiting for nothing? Let me see, because this is live. Wait. Let me see. Or is it over? Is it over already? No, it can't be over. Let me see. So right now the time is 3 hours, 25 minutes, and 17 seconds. Let me check if it changes. Yeah, it's still going. All right. I just want to make sure I'm not waiting here for anything. Let me see. Okay, Ernest. Probably not. Respect, man. Let me see. DJ. Let me see what he wrote here. Which social handles do you stream the hearings on? It's the same thing. It's if you see right here on all my accounts, if you type that in, whether it's to the red platform with a white triangle, if you type that on there, it'll come up. Or you can even go to my profile. If you go to my profile, it has all my social media links and whatnot. So I make it really easy. Let me see here. And just curious, Texas don't play and give a lot of yeah. You know what? I've been watching that one judge. She's a female. She's an African American female. I don't recall. Boyd. Is it Boyd? I think it's Boyd. Yeah. I've been listening to her court hearing meetings, and her meetings are definitely interesting, and it's a real eye opener. She gives people a lot. She gives them chance. She gives them enough chances to hang themselves. A lot of people, they come back, and I'm like, man, when she breaks them off 8, 9, 10, 20 years, I'm like, damn, Texas does not play around. I remember yesterday I was listening to this one case of this young kid that did a robbery with his buddy, and then he ended up agreeing to tell on his buddy. So they ended up giving him the 10 years suspended sentence, and he had to testify against his buddy. And then they put a gang of restrictions, like not being able to, you have to test a lot, you have to check in at least once a month, and they definitely make you jump through hoops in Texas. I'm kind of surprised that people don't violate a lot quicker than what they do. Let me see any comments here. Let me see. Texas is rough. Yep. Anytime I'm in Texas, I gotta definitely think about it twice. I would love to hear anything from Texas. You know what? Maybe we should do maybe a little bit later on. We'll do Judge Boyd. I just want to finish up with this parole board hearing. Let me make sure. Let me see. Last time I checked, right now it's at 3 hours and 28 seconds and. Or no, sorry, 3 hours, 28 minutes and 15 seconds. I'm gonna check if this time is changing because I want to make sure I'm not waiting here for nothing. I mean, the event still says live on here, so I'm assuming it's still going. Let me see. 3 hours, 28 minutes and 37 seconds. Yeah, so it's still going. I wonder who they're trying to get right now. All right. Man, oh snap! I just noticed we got 17,000 hearts. Thank you, highly appreciate it. Hopefully, it gets us to the front page and brings in some more people in. Let me see what did Snow put. Snow is crazy. It's called the American justice system, but each state is so inconsistent. Yep. Yeah, I can definitely agree with that. A lot of the individuals that are bringing in California, they have similar types of offenses. A lot of them are for unaliving people. Some of them got life without parole. Some of them got 15 years to life. And other ones got 25 to life. So it's all over the place. The curious one writes, need to be careful coming to Texas. Hell yeah. Ooh. Like I'm telling you, like I never really thought about it till I started watching Judge Boyd. I'm like, damn, like, go there on vacation, come home on probation or parole, maybe, depending on and let me see. I am Lola, federal, state, county, city equals law. Yup. What kind of things would you guys like to see? Because right now mostly I've been focusing on the these board of parole hearings throughout the country. Unfortunately, there's not that many states that offer it. I think right now I've been able to locate I think I would say maybe like a good 8 or 9 different states offer their board hearings online. Besides the board hearings, what else? Like what judge do you guys like hearing or listening to? See, Snow, someone made a great suggestion. Interview the inmates. Yeah, that one. You know what? I've been thinking about that. I just gotta get around to setting up securities accounts, because a lot of these other states use securities. I haven't set one up because normally the individuals I speak to are their service under GTL, Global Tel Link, or like I like to call them global trash link, because it's definitely trash. Let me see. That Vegas is slang. No Nintendo. Let me see here. So in the coming weeks, we are going to be having. Somebody had asked earlier on if I do Illinois, and we do have a hearing set up for Illinois on the 31st of October. So we got 29 more days before that comes around. Then on the 8th, so next week, we're going to be doing Pennsylvania. I've never listened in on one of the ones in for Pennsylvania, so definitely looking forward to that. They don't have them that often. Last time we had one scheduled for Minnesota. I'm not sure what happened, but we weren't able to view it. So some of the states that we are able to do. So Utah they do normally Monday through Thursday. We do Iowa, Connecticut, Vermont, Minnesota, Kansas. Oh, I gotta check when the Kansas one. Oh, but for the Kansas one, you gotta sign up for that one. So I emailed them. I haven't heard anything back. Philadelphia, Chicago. So let me see. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8. 9. Oh yeah, Louisiana. That'll be 9 with Louisiana, 10 with Oregon. So we got quite a few states that we can that we could select from whenever they're running streams. But the main ones would be Utah, Iowa, and Connecticut, I would say, and Vermont. Vermont's starting to have a little bit more. Let me see. Vegas thing is go there on vacation, leave on probation. You know what? A lot of places have that slogan. You know what? I have this interesting story. One time when I was in county, this was this was the last time I went to county, and this was back in 2001 era. So it's been about what is it now? Like, damn, it's been about 23 years at this point. Let me see. Hey, over here on the other stream, we got Chris puts, my garbage people in my neighborhood are fighting right now. Hey, get a video, shoot it over, send it on over. But so I was up in county back in 2001, and there was this guy there that he was from London or Britain, and he had caught a DUI while he was on vacation. So his whole vacation, he spent it in county, and then his friends ended up leaving, or his family, because he was their vacation was over. So I always wonder what happened to him after he got out. Like, how was he able to figure this out? Because back in 2001, technology wasn't like it is right now. We didn't have any smartphones. But I think like in 2001, man, we had a Sprint, and we had a like little flip phones, green and those green screens that would light up. So technology wasn't it's nothing like it is now. So hopefully he made it home safe, or maybe he got deported. Who knows? But if you're out there, Snow put Nokia Sprint, haha, yup. Mine was pink. I still have, what? Funny enough, some of those phones I still have in my possession. I'm going to show you guys some of my phones that I had from over, at least over 20 years ago. This right here, this was my first phone that I ever got on T-Mobile. This is my first phone. This is the free phone they would give at that time, because before they would give free phones. And I've had these for the the last over 20 years easily, because that's how long I've been with T-Mobile. Old school Nokia. Yeah, I got some Nokias up there too. Man, and they're definitely lollygagging today. What's up? I don't know how much longer I could entertain you guys. You see, we're at 3 hours, 35 minutes, and 39 seconds. Let me see. Juliet wrote, our boys, Chris. That's right. Oh yeah, let me show you guys on YouTube just in case you guys want to see. I was just focusing on the other stream, but yeah, this is my first T-Mobile phone right here. Look at this thing. Imagine popping out this thing nowadays. I'd be like, damn. Oh no, I don't even think they work anymore. I think they shut down the 2G networks. I'm looking at my other computer right in front of me, and man, that organ hearing still. Oh, we're back. Oh, damn, they cut it. They did us dirty. We waited off for them to cut it. That's no bueno. No bueno. Let me see. I think they still work. I see some. So right now I'm gonna take a break. I'm gonna take a break for about an hour. I am gonna come back on, but I'm gonna be doing some live prison calls. We're going to be having Silas coming on at 10:30, so I'm going to go grab something to eat, take a little break, get hydrated, freshen up. And let me see, Rob put the game snake gone, but never forgot it. Oh, man. Let me see, they eating lunch, laughing out loud. Yeah, no, they cut it. That was it. It was over. But hey, you know what? I appreciate all you guys, tuning in. And like I say around here, life's like a candle. Hey, oh, you know what? Hold up. Before, you know what I'm going to do? I forgot. Let me see. I'm going to direct you guys over to I'm going to jump on to the organ hearing. If you guys want to jump on that one, let me set it up so I could direct you guys over there. And I forgot. I need to start doing this more often whenever, so I could send you guys from one stream to the next. Let me see. Redirect. Let me see here. I'll redirect you to I didn't even spell. Did I spell Oregon right? No, I didn't even spell Oregon right. Oops. I gotta go back and fix that right now. All right. So appreciate you guys. I'm gonna go ahead and jump on the Oregon one. And like I said right here, lights like a candle. Once you blow it out, it's lights out. And with that, we're out of here. A rato.